Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. So ready for, okay, ready, Kevin? My bad.
Now I know what happened last week.
Okay, let's just go from here. Just cue up.
Welcome to Week 7 of the 2017 Prairie Football Conference season and ICU Video's procast coverage of the PFC. Good evening, football fans. I'm Kevin Donnan, and I'll be your host and sideline reporter for tonight's action between the Hamilton Hurricanes and the Edmonton Wildcats from Clarke Park in beautiful downtown Edmonton. This game is very special for two very important reasons. First, it's the first interconference play for both of these teams since the Canadian Junior Football League introduced the interconference schedule between the Ontario Football Conference and the Prairie Football Conference earlier this season. Secondly, and most importantly, this game is a celebration of sorts of the Edmonton Wildcats' 1977 National Championship team. This is a special alumni celebration weekend for the Wildcats, and what better way to turn the fortunes around of this team around this season than in front of your hometown fans and your alumni in a very important game. The Hurricanes come into this game with a 3-2 record in the OFC. Meanwhile, the Cats are winless this season and have not won a game since the first game of the 2015 season. I have a feeling tonight that the Wildcats are going to pull off the victory. Let's throw things upstairs to Dave Rozak and Rob Herod, who will have the call of tonight's game. Gentlemen?
You are not the only one, my friend. I've got that very same feeling, and it's going to be a very special game. As Kevin mentioned, Rob, 1977, some great football players came out of that team. A great coach in Jim Lazeric, whom we'll be honoring this evening as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night out, and these two teams are ready to go. I'm looking forward to seeing the matchup with the huge O-line and a young quarterback on the other side going at it.
You bet. Let's go down to field level now, and the introduction of the players and the alumni.
Welcome to Clarke Park in Edmonton and ICU Video's procast coverage of Week 7 of the 2017 Prairie Football Conference season. Good evening, football fans. I'm Kevin Donnan, and I'll be your host and sideline reporter for tonight's contest between the visiting Hamilton Hurricanes and the Edmonton Wildcats. This game is special for two very important reasons. First, it's the Wildcats' first taste of interconference play between the Ontario Football Conference and the Prairie Football Conference, which was introduced earlier this season by the Canadian Junior Football League. Secondly, and most importantly, this game is an alumni celebration for the Wildcats as they are recognizing the 40th anniversary of their 1977 National Championship victory over the Hurricanes back in '77 at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. Back then it was known as the Armadale Cup, and the Wildcats came away with a 28-0 victory. Fast forward 40 years, the Hurricanes come into this game at 3-2, fighting for top spot in the OFC. Meanwhile, the Wildcats come in winless at 0-5 in 2017, and in fact, they have not won a game since the first game of the 2015 season. Is there a little magic left from '77 at Clarke Park? We're going to find out right away. Let's throw things upstairs to Dave Rozak and Rob Harrod, who will call tonight's game. And guys, tonight I got a feeling. Yeah. I really got a feeling, Dave. I think the Wildcats can break this winless streak tonight.
All right, I got some money to put on that. No, I've got the same. I've got the same feeling, Kevin.
I'm taking the action, Dave. Come on, let's go.
No, I've got the same feeling, and one reason is that during the week, a bunch of the alumni from the 1977 team was in the dressing room, Rob, and they gave these players from the 2017 team a bit of a pep talk, and I think it's something they needed.
Well, I think so. This team's in a position where they need a little bit of injection of something, and I think having those alumni guys who know they've won before, they've had that feeling, just to hang out and talk a little bit and just get that pump up, I think is going to go a long ways.
And you look down at the field level, and we will in just a couple of minutes, but there are a whole pile of alumni from this team, and I'm amazing that there are just so many of these guys that have come out to support the 2017 team.
Well, there's obviously something special about the weekend, and then Hamilton's in town. And, it's a new team on the field that they get to look at, and I think that's going to be exciting for the players, and I think it's going to be a great night.
The old saying is, and we've seen it many, many times in the magazine, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat.
That's right. I'm sure those alumni are very proud to be here, too, and to cheer on these guys and hopefully see that first win come.
All right, let's go downstairs and to field level and the introduction of the players.
Hamilton Hurricanes. And ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for head coach Darcy Park and the Edmonton Wildcats. Ladies and gentlemen, the Edmonton Wildcats would like to welcome the 1977 National Championship team to tonight's game. 2017 is the 40th anniversary 2017 is the 40th anniversary of this team defeating the Hamilton Hurricanes 28-0 on November 20th, 1977 in Hamilton. You will see on the field, flanked by today's Hamilton Hurricanes and Edmonton Wildcats, that the players, support personnel, and administration of the 1977 Edmonton Wildcats have joined them on field for the singing of our national anthem. The members of the 77 Cats would also like you to note the table on the near sideline straddling center field to represent those team members that we have lost since 1977. And they are offensive tackle John Sheriff, wide receiver Jack Hall, slot back kicker Glenn Johnstone, defensive tackle Dave McDonald, coach Daryl Souster, trainer Jim Laurie, treasurer Maurice Labros, and secretary Mrs. Jean McDonald. And now, ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to please rise for the singing of the national anthem.
We're second down and about 9 yards to go. Gain of 1 on that last play. Barankovic handoff in the backfield, breaks 1 tackle. Number 30, our man began right in for the touchdown.
If you would have told me at the beginning of that year that we would have won the championship, I would have said, wow, you know, but it didn't seem real until after it happened because we were so focused on the moment.
I think talent-wise, they would have been fine, but they lost their composure. There was never retaliation on the part of a Cat. If you were that type of player, you didn't play. You weren't part of Laz's scheme, and basically they took X number of yards of penalties that would be unbelievable on unnecessary. There was 3 in 1 play, and it moved the ball, 75 yards or whatever down the field, and the Cats just took it over. Controlled, composure. It actually was just almost like a complete Jim Lazeric, the icing on the cake.
Well, it was a lot of fun. We went into it ready to play the kind of football that we knew we could play. We were certainly touted as underdogs, but in our minds we had one thing to do, and we went out and did it. So there were pretty tough odds against us with respect to how these guys were kind of dissing us and that sort of thing. But we prevailed, and we really believed in ourselves. We had probably one of the most outstanding defenses in junior football at that time, and our offense always managed to get the job done. So it was a really great team effort.
In that game, that's where his coaching really came out, and how he taught us to be very, very disciplined, because in that game the Hurricanes took 268 yards in penalties alone by themselves, and we had very, very few, and that was the biggest difference in the game, and it's all attributed to him, the way he coached us and the way he wanted us to present ourselves.
I think more than anything it was just do what we do. Our commitment to excellence, the things that got us there were what he expected of us. Discipline, hit to the whistle, all of the really fundamental things. There wasn't any extra rah-rah. It was business as usual, and that's what made things so outstanding, having him as a head coach, because the message was always really consistent.
We socialized 12 months a year. The Wildcats for us was the social hub of our lives for the length of time that we were there. It was it was a very important time.
To this day, let me put it this way. Here we are in 2017, and we continue to get together. This group of Wildcats, it's an unbelievable thing, and Brian Yaschuk has often spearheads many of these things, but it's like we played 5 years ago. It's just the team was that close.
I'll tell you what, that pregame ceremony, Rob Herod, kind of put a little chill up my spine, watching the old and the new as the new players shook hands with all the veterans from the old team, the championship team.
Yeah, there's always something special about that, and even looking on myself, you know, it kind of brings me back to the days when I was playing, and it's like it's been a few years now, and I know those guys are down there, and you could see on their faces, the alumni, how proud they were to be a Wildcat, and then you see the young guys just watching them. That's something pretty special.
You know, the one guy who is not here tonight is the coach of that team in 1977, Jim Lazeric. Jim was inducted into the Strathcona Wall of Fame, the Sports Wall of Fame, like on August 30th, and unfortunately could not be with us tonight. But out there in the stands in the big blue, there's a big yellow sign that says Laz, and that stands for Coach Laz, and that's what everybody used to call him.
Well, and you can never count, but the number of young people that he impacted in through his coaching over the many years is just unbelievable, and there's probably still ripple effects of that even today.
Even the number of coaches that he inspired. And one is Jim Donlevy, whom I had a chance to talk to on August the 30th as well, and we'll be listening to a little bit of him at halftime as well. So just a great man and a great coach and a great individual is the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I think we're ready to get this football game underway, a game that Kevin Donnan says the Wildcats should win, and I kind of agree with him. So let's just see what happens as the Edmonton Wildcats take on the Hurricanes from Hamilton. And as I said, I had a chance to talk with Coach Jason Hayes and watch these young men work out in the confines of Commonwealth Stadium just a couple of days ago. They were amazed at the stadium, the size, the number of seats and everything like that. It was kind of neat to watch them. Their eyes were just bulging out. It was really nice to see.
Yeah, great experience for the young guys to see what at the pro level, you know, the quality of everything going on the field, and what a beautiful stadium we have here in Edmonton. We're very fortunate. All
right, we are set to get underway with this kickoff, and doing the honors for the Hamilton Hurricanes will be number 95. That is Mike Langley. He is a big defensive lineman as well as being the kicker for this team. And back there to receive the kickoff around the 5-yard line, number 83 is Carter Lawson. And on the far side is Lucas Howe, number 81. And Lucas Howe is one of the leading kick returners in the Prairie Football Conference. Had a great game last week against the Huskies and is looking for more of the same in this evening's game. So here we go, kickoff, and this football game about to get underway. All right, doing the kicking for the Hamilton Hurricanes. The ball comes down to about the 10-yard line. Fumbled there by Howe. He picks it up to the 20, still going, and up to the 40, 50, over the center line, and up, tackled from behind at about the 42-yard line on a horse collar tackle. We do have a flag on the play, but what a great run back by Lucas Howe as he was able to pick the holes early going.
Yeah, well, just before that, I was going to say, let's hope that special teams is kind of getting back on track. We've seen some great things this year from the special teams. And again, right there, you can see on the replay, although it got delayed with a little bit of a bobble, once he got the ball, he was off to the races. And a lot of Hamilton guys you can see on the ground there creating the space. And it looked like he was almost off to go.
Number 13, Hamilton, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Horse collar tackle, and that will bring the football all the way down to the 28-yard line. And in the first minute of play, the Edmonton Wildcats get their first big break of this football game. Out there at starting quarterback, the rookie, Cody Olson, getting his first start in the Prairie Football Conference. Talked to him, and he was a little bit nervous, admittedly, but his handoff to Bray Josu goes nowhere as that big defensive line of the Hamilton Tiger Cats smothered Josu and threw him for a loss of about maybe 2 yards or so.
Well, 59 came right up the middle. You can see on that replay and untouched into the backfield, and that's probably a communication problem with the O-line is who's picking up who, and they've got to make sure they shore that up to give this young quarterback a chance to get this offense on the move.
Zach Hoffner in on the tackle for the Hurricanes, and now out of the shotgun, Cody Olson. There's the play action, takes off with the football himself and is taken down from behind. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much more, and it'll be a 2 and out for the Edmonton Wildcats. They will probably try a field goal from this distance off the foot of Matt Zeroni.
I think so, yeah, and we saw in that special teams return a lot of bodies for Hamilton on the ground. I think on the offense we're seeing a lot of the Cats O-line just a little overwhelmed right now by the push the defensive line are getting, and so they're going to have to dig in a little bit and help their offense move the ball here.
Both offensive and defensive lines of the Hamilton Hurricanes are big, to say the least. We'll talk more about that later, but from the 36-yard line. Here is the attempted field goal. It was going well wide, taken in the end zone up to the 5, still going at the 10. And the Hamilton Hurricanes will take the football over offensively at about their own 10-yard line. And a kind of a disappointing start for the Edmonton Wildcats. I know they wanted to get those 3 points right off the top.
Well, really unfortunate with the great special teams play and being in such great field position that they end up missing the field goal. And now, as in the Prairie Football Conference, if you return a missed field goal out past the goal line, you automatically get up to the 20. Of course, that's done for a few reasons. One, to encourage the returners to bring it out,
right,
because it doesn't get them caught inside their 20. But again, really unfortunate for the Cats. But now it's the defense's opportunity to try to keep some of that momentum and get a stop here and try to get the ball back.
And they've got to do something with that big offensive line of the Hamilton Hurricanes. Back in the pocket now. Looking downfield is number 3, Jake Marquette. And Marquette's pass just over the outstretched arms of the intended receiver, Trey Ivey. Marquette, one of the top quarterbacks in the Ontario Football Conference, and Trey Ivey is the leader among receivers for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, nice little play there. Actually, quarterback had some time, a little bit of pressure late, but had the time and delivered it close. Unfortunately, you can see in the replay, it was just out of the outstretched arms of the receiver.
One of those big offensive linemen we talked about, 460. That's right, 460 pounds, 6'9". Watch for number 67 out there. He's the right guard.
Yeah, I was actually looking for that. They don't seem to have him on the field right now, so interesting.
He is out there. Or is that 57? I'm sorry, 57. He's not out there.
Yeah,
there's the handoff left side, and it's taken by David Adeniran, and Adeniran moves ahead for a gain of about maybe 4 or 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 3.
It's definitely going to be interesting to watch how the game develops and what Hamilton decides to do with their offense and their play selection. You can see there they came out throwing it, putting themselves in 2nd and long because of the incompletion. And there you go. There's the shot of the big man over there, over 400 pounds of pure muscle. And you can see that this is a big lineup.
And he's quick, too. We watched him during the warm-up, and he was up and down off the turf pretty fast. Off the punt, it's taken at midfield, and thrown back is number 22, Isaiah Brown. And Brown will field the ball just over the 50-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats will take over at about the 53-yard line.
Well, the Wildcat defense did what was expected of them, to get a stop and get the ball back. And so already for the second time tonight, the Cats are going to be taking the ball in Hamilton territory. So, again, a lot of pressure on the Hamilton defense here to continue to stop the offense of the Wildcats.
Once again, Cody Olson at quarterback, the rookie with his first start in the PFC. Out of the I formation, handoff to the play action. Long pass at the 10-yard line. It is complete. And doing a great job of coming back to that bit of a floater was Jacob Mialides.
Yeah, really good job. The ball, again, quarterback did a great job of reading the pressure up front. He pulled it out of the running back's arms, bought himself some time, and unloaded it deep. A little bit of a wobbler, but great job by the receiver coming back to the ball. And you can see there how he really extended his hands, didn't let it come into his body. So putting them in a real good position here to get the first points.
I think as this game goes on, we'll see the importance of that option read that they go through. And Cody Olson has been working on that diligently all week long. There's the handoff, wrong side to Bray Josu, and Josu will move it ahead perhaps a yard or so, make that a loss of a yard or so, and it'll be 2nd down for the Wildcats.
So what that play was, it looked like it was a little bit of a counter play, maybe not quite the mesh you want between the quarterback and the running back. Again, trying to draw them to one side, but the backside of the defense really didn't bite on that, and they were waiting with open arms for Josie as he came back to the left side.
So it'll be 2nd and 12. There's the little swing pass to the outside at the 15, still going with it, stopped at around the 10-yard line. And that was taken by number 80 for the Wildcats, Brandon Rednord.
And early on, you can see them on this. They're really using that run fake. And that time, a lot of the guys all bit down, and they're really trying to stop the run game. And they end up getting out to the edge. Unfortunately, he didn't quite have enough space to gain enough to continue this drive.
So 2 flags on the play. Waiting to see what the call is. The head referee for tonight's game is
Edmonton number 81. That penalty has been declined. Third down.
The illegal block will be the call. Alex Matuzis is the head referee for tonight's game. The umpire is Kyle Miller. The field judge is Andre Leduc. The back judge, Romeo Kabongo. The side judge, Tom Jennings. The head linesman is Mark Buczynski. And the line judge is Sharon Airy. And another field goal attempt. And this one will come from the 20-yard line. The ball is up, and it is through the uprights. Nice job by Tanner Holt with his 5th field goal of the season. And that gives the Wildcats a much-needed 3-0 lead.
Yeah, a good little lift there. You know, 2 series inside the offensive zone. You want to come away with some points. I'm sure they would have preferred 7, but 3 has got them on the board, and that's going to be a little bit of a lift. And now the defense back on the field. And going to look forward to seeing what this Hamilton offense can do tonight.
Right, we didn't get much of a chance in that first series as the Wildcats defense held them strong. They marked the ball down at the 35-yard line. 10 minutes, 30 seconds to go. In the first quarter, the Edmonton Wildcats leading the Hamilton Hurricanes by a score of 3-0. And again, out of the shotgun is Jake Marquette. Marquette steps back once, fires quickly, and it is complete at the 40-yard line, taken there by number 21, Xavier Thomas, or make that Giovanni Ellis.
Yeah, obviously Hamilton happy to go to the air on first down. Not always the traditional thing to do, but they're definitely willing to get a very manageable second down distance by just throwing something underneath, gain a few yards. Again, that also can help quarterbacks establish a little bit of a rhythm in a game, which we're going to see develop over the course of this first and second quarter.
And just a quick 1 or 2 steps back and let the ball go.
And it takes away the pressure from the defensive lineman as well. Really not enough time to get there, so get the ball out in a hurry.
All right, the Hurricanes come out with 6 receivers or 5 receivers headed downfield, and the play is whistled down. Looks like it will be a time count violation. That'll move the ball back 5 yards.
Time count violation, number 3, Hamilton. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
And that will mean second and about 8.5 yards to go for the first down. So that likely means a passing situation for Jake Marquette and the Hurricane offense.
Yeah, looking quite content to air it out tonight, which could put on a nice little show here. And you can see as they line up, they do have indeed 6 receivers spread out. Let's see how Edmonton deals with this.
Marquette steps back and then takes off with the football and is run out of bounds. There's a couple of flags in the backfield. That generally means it's going to be a holding call, but we'll wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah, it likely works in the favor of Edmonton, and you know, if they can decline this and get the ball back. And again, the Edmonton defense doing a great job just sitting on those routes.
9.5 to go in the first quarter. The call goes against the Hamilton Hurricanes. They'll decline it.
Holding. Hamilton number 53. That penalty has been declined. Third down.
So it'll be third and about 8.5, and the Hurricanes once again will be forced to kick this one away.
Yeah, Darcy's going to be happy with the production of their defense so far, not giving up any yards and getting the ball back in the hands of their offense.
Rakeel with the punt. It'll come down to about the 40-yard line, taken there by number 22, and that, of course, is Isaiah Brown. And Brown tries to keep the ball moving and is finally stopped once and for all after breaking a couple of tackles. But Isaiah Brown, if he's able to find some room, and I'm sure that the Hurricanes have scouted him, if they're able to find some room, look out. He can really move.
Yeah, we've got a couple flags here. It looked like there may be a blocking from behind, maybe moving Edmonton a little bit further back, but that's 2 punts in a row.
Yeah.
That we've seen Hamilton do a really good job of actually covering their punts. I mean, limiting the gains, and they're going to need to do that tonight with the dangerous returners that Edmonton has out on the field.
Isaiah Brown, one of the top 3 returners in the Prairie Football Conference going into this game. Now, this is the second interconference game of the season for the Hamilton Hurricanes. They took on the Regina Thunder early in the season and lost 61-7. In fairness, they also lost their number 1 quarterback, Jake Marquette, and their top receiver as well in that football game. So after taking a 7-0 lead, they just couldn't hold on, and as a result, ended up losing 61-7, and it was their request to play the Thunder early in the season because of last year's championship final, of course. And the Wildcats wanted the chance to play the Hurricanes, so they requested them, and the league agreed that the Hurricanes would play both games, and the Hurricanes were more than happy to do it. Which is a great thing for the Canadian Junior Football League.
I think it's fabulous to see these teams crossing over. You know, again, there's travel costs and so on, but I think it's going to be really good for the national exposure of the league and continue to build its product.
All right, so off that penalty, the Hurricanes will get another chance to kick this one away and back down at the 40-yard line once again. This is Isaiah Brown looking for some room. Can he get to the outside? He's got some space, and is finally tackled after a run back of about 7 yards, and looked to get to the outside, but a good job by one of the Hamilton defenders, number 58, Spencer Turpin, to cut that outside.
Yeah, again, with a dangerous returner, you do not want to give up the outside edge on a return like that. And you can see he reversed field here as he's coming around, and he really only had 1 or 2 guys to beat, but great job securing the tackle and limiting the gain.
All right, so it'll be first down for the Edmonton Wildcats. Ball is on their own 47-yard line. Cody Wilson, the quarterback. The motion goes to the right. 5 receivers headed out, and here's Bray Josu. He does get around the outside, which is something they've been trying to do all season. Josu taken down from behind after a gain of close to 25 yards, and like I say, they've been trying to do that all season long, and Josu was able to break it.
Well, the amount of momentum that's going to just continue to create. If they can continue with that run game we saw in the first series, the play action was really effective in buying time. So again, if you can establish that run game, that's going to open up the passing game. And what a great run and way to just kind of right down the sideline, gaining lots of yards.
Well, you know, when I talked to Darcy Park last night at practice, he was saying one of the main aims is to try and spread out the field a little bit. Play action, and rolling to his left and taking off with it is Cody Olson. Olson up the middle, still going with it. Finally taken down just shy of the 5-yard line. Cody Olson calls his own number, and again, a little bit of that option read going on.
Yeah, and they're going to go back to that continually because you could see again on this replay, that fake, again, after a 25-yard run, those defensive linemen, those linebackers are really collapsing in on the running back, and then Cody did a great job of getting downfield, getting in behind some blocks, and gaining and putting them in a really great position here to put the ball into the end zone.
Well, as nervous as the young man was before the game when I was talking to him, he is as cool as a cucumber out there now.
Well, again, the opportunity for a quarterback to run the ball usually calms him down and gets him set.
All right, there's more play action, and once again, Olson will take off with it, and he is stopped just over the 5-yard line at about the 3 or 4, ridden out of bounds, and another great run for Cody Olson. Obviously, he likes to run the football.
Yeah, and you can see here again, backside pressure is actually getting to him, but that front side is still collapsing on the run. And so, you know, with that threat to run and the danger of that for the Edmonton Wildcats offense, that defense is going to have to adjust in Hamilton and not let the quarterback get outside.
All right, we have an injured Hamilton player. Let's go downstairs now, and here is Kevin.
Thanks so much, Dave. While the Wildcats are making big plays on offense, here down here on the sideline, both the special teams units and defense are stressing patience. But I think what you're going to see is the Cats trying to get a little more heat on the quarterback and trying to disguise blitzes, or at least that's what was talked about down here. Back up to you, Dave.
That may have been one of the reasons why that quick 1-2 step drop and let the ball go, because of the impending pressure from that defensive line and the linebackers too.
Yeah, and that's kind of the design. But again, if you, back to that defensive stand by the Wildcats on that short throw, they're going to be sitting on those routes. So at some point in time, they're going to look to go over top. And, last week against the Huskies, we saw them get burnt a couple times over the top. So as long as they're disciplined, and like the coach was saying, as long as they're patience on defense, they'll be fine.
All right, penalty call going against the Edmonton Wildcats. That moves the ball back to about the 14-yard line. And it will be 1st and 15 for the Wildcats, or 1st and goal, actually, for the Wildcats. Out of the shotgun, there's the pass. It is complete at the 1. And taken there by number 83 for the Wildcats. And that, of course, is Carter Lawson, the young rookie from Wainwright. And he made quite a name for himself in last week's game and has taken up right where he left off.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of the slide protection from the offense with regards to the Cats, and I think they're just loving getting him outside, and obviously he's having success throwing on the run, and great little play there to get him down to the goal line.
All right, 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. There's the handoff, and on the right side, taking it in for the touchdown is number 13, Kieran Bell, out of McNally High School. Or make that 33. Did that last week too, Matt Heinrichs. Heinrichs with the touchdown, and Heinrichs, of course, out of Belrose High School up in St. Albert.
Yeah, you know what? Great giving the fullback a little bit of love. It's not a lot of 1st and goal.
Number 55, that's been declined. Touchdown.
All right, they declined the penalty, of course. And the Wildcats, with 6:07 to go in this first quarter, come up with an early 9-0 lead, pending the point after.
Yeah, and they've got to be happy with the start. The defense is doing their job. Special teams has contributed to really gaining that initial field position. Really what they've kind of gone back and forth. That initial field position was gained by special teams, and so at all 3 phases are now contributing.
All right, the point after from Tanner Holt. Ball is down, it's up, and it's good. And with 6:07 to go, it's a 10-0 football game in favor of the Edmonton Wildcats, and that is really something that Darcy Park has got to be happy with. One of the things that he wanted to do more than anything else was increase the tempo on offense, and he's certainly done that tonight.
Well, I think it all complements itself. We've seen a little bit of the run game, and they're kind of gashing the defense with a run game, and that's setting up play action. It's setting up that read zone. I mean, again, a lot of good things are happening on offense, all stemming from the threat of the run.
What does that remind you of? Last week, the Huskies were doing almost exactly the same thing.
They were, right to us here in Edmonton. We saw a good show of the number 1 ranked team in the country last week. And again, Wildcats doing that tonight against Hamilton. And so Hamilton's really going to have to look to come up with some answers to slow the offense down and get their own offense going. I'd like to see them maybe try to run the ball. They've got about 1,500 pounds of meat up front. Let's see what they can do with it now.
James Barnsley with the kickoff. It comes down to about the 25-yard line, taken there on the far side by number 31, Zach Sibley. And Sibley is run down just over the 40-yard line, and the Hamilton Hurricanes will take over the football in good field position with 5:59 to go.
Yeah, we almost had another blunder on the side of the Hamilton team, and the Edmonton Cats almost got on that ball. You can see as they're taking the runner back down, you likely can see here in the replay, that ball gets stripped out. I think it gets knocked out by Hamilton, so stays in their favor.
And it is knocked out. Now, it's tough to say who got the hand on the football. It was awfully close.
It was awfully close, a lot closer than we saw the first time through, but nonetheless, Hamilton's got the ball. Let's see what this offense can do.
All right, out of the I formation, 5 receivers headed downfield. There's the handoff up the middle, taken there by number 2, David Adeniran. And Adeniran, their leading rusher, and one of the leading rushers in the OFC, moves it ahead, a gain of about 12 yards or so. It'll be enough for the first down. So we see this early running game of the Hamilton Hurricanes, and they had to go to the running game for a lot of this season unwillingly because of injuries to Marquette and, of course, to their leading receiver too, Angus Button.
Yeah, and with the size of that O-line, I would not be hesitant to run the ball and just test the Edmonton defense.
All right, looking downfield, pass is up, wide open, complete at the 30-yard line, and at the 10, heading in for the touchdown. The Hamilton Hurricanes on the scoreboard. Emmett Putt from Caledonia, Ontario, with the touchdown.
Well, we definitely had a busting coverage on the Edmonton defense. He was wide open, uncovered, and although there's a free safety deep, somebody else should be in the vicinity with coverage on him.
Tony Savchuk going for a bit of a slide on the turf and was unable to make the tackle, and as a result, it's a touchdown with 4:58 to go, and the point after now for the Hamilton Hurricanes. Bit of a delay here. As one of the players, I think they may be a man short. One of the Hurricanes' special teams players. Waiting to see what the Hurricanes need to do. Now they are out on the field.
Yeah, obviously Hamilton willing to take the time count, move it back 5 yards, and get their player on to try to secure this 1 point.
Emmett Putt was the player who
Time count violation, Hamilton, number 6. 5-yard penalty, repeat convert.
And since Putt is the holder, it was probably a good thing to take that 5 yards.
Yeah, you don't want to have a sub in there at this type of play.
Johnny Rakeel doing the point after honors, and he gets it through. And with 4:58 to go in the first quarter, it's now a 10-7 football game. And a lot of people expected this might be a high-scoring game, and you never know the way they're putting points on the board early in this contest.
So you can see there on the replay, they had 3 receivers to either side of the field. 2 of them stopped short, and then 1 took off on the short side of the field, and that's the guy that was left uncovered all the way down the field. Great job of the quarterback finding him. You could see him quickly there look off to the left, and the goal in that from a quarterback standpoint is to draw the safety or hold the safety in the middle of the field. You could see Tony came over a little bit late, ended up slipping in the end, but the idea is to hold the free safety away from where you're likely going to go. It held him long enough, and then he was able to deliver the ball on time, and then the receiver was able to make Tony miss, and off to the end zone he went.
All right, so the Hurricanes will be kicking off once again, and out there to do the honors is Rakeel. Rakeel gets a good one away, all the way down to about the 5-yard line. Taken there by number 83, and that is Carter Lawson, and Lawson with a good run back of close to 25 yards or so. He picked it up at about the 5, gets it over the 32-yard line, and it'll be first down for the Wildcats.
Unfortunately, a flag came out. We'll see what that and how that impacts. It looks like there's calling Hamilton over, so likely going against the Edmonton Wildcats. It's going to move them back a little deeper to their end zone and have a little bit of a longer field.
Illegal block, Edmonton, number 24. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Now that's the 3rd illegal block against the Wildcats in this game so far. Is that something that Darcy needs to worry about?
I think so. It's kind of a discipline thing. You know, you want to make your blocks. All the guys are trying hard. It's a big night for them, again, trying to get that win in. And, they've got to be disciplined, though. They've got to do it with discipline if they want to succeed.
Motion goes to the right. 2 receivers on the far side. There's the handoff to Bray Joseph. Gets around 1 man and then is run out of real estate and finally taken down by number 25, Creighton Chartier.
Yeah, again, continuing with that read option, quarterback has the option to pull it each time. And again, he's going to be there. I mean, Hamilton's adjusting. They're saying, okay, the defensive lineman's going to have to watch him. He's willing to pull, he's willing to run. And so he's going to have to rely on the rest of the defense to stop that run, which in that case, Hamilton did a great job just, again, using the sideline as a little extra help and pushing him right into the side.
All right, a loss of about a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 11. Motion goes left this time, back in the pocket, looking downfield and then taking off with it once again. But this time the defensive line was ready for it. Cody Olsen picks up a gain of about maybe 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, something Olsen's going to have to learn to do is as he starts to step up into the pocket, you could see on the replay here, gets a little bit of pressure from the outside. Again, he steps up, but he tucks the ball right away. I know you want to protect the ball, but you also want to keep your eyes downfield because often it's once you step up into the pocket, you're going to see some receivers come open, you'll be able to deliver it. So we'll see if he can manage some of that as this game progresses.
All right, Zeroni doing the punting for the Edmonton Wildcats. Good snap. Gets an end-over-end shank. It'll come out to the sidelines at about the 38-yard line, and good field position for the Hamilton Hurricanes. Not a good time for Zeroni to shank one.
No, definitely not. We've seen a lot of great things from special teams coordinator. I think it's Jared Winkle, and you could see there back to his old playing days, catching a punt on the sideline. He was the one that got it. Unfortunately, I don't think he was happy about that, hoping to gain a little bit more field position for the defense to defend.
All right, opportunity now knocks for the Hamilton Hurricanes with 3:40 to go in the first quarter. Ball is on the Edmonton 38-yard line. Marquette sends 5 receivers downfield and hands off to Adeniran, and Adeniran skips around a couple of tackles and is finally taken down at about the 30-yard line. He'll pick up a gain of close to 8 yards in the play, but seems like he ran a lot more than that.
He did. His legs never stopped, and that's really a good sign of a running back that, if a big hole doesn't get created, and you can see here on the replay as he's up the middle, he's got to bounce it outside there, and then he's kind of cutting back in. So quick feet, and again, those are the type of skills you're looking for in a running back. And once again, Hamilton trying to establish that run game.
Jake Marquette, of course, the quarterback, and he's back with the team. Angus Button's still out. He'll be out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, and that's really got to hurt the team as far as their receiving game is concerned. But they still come up with some pretty good players and some pretty good statistics, too, as far as the receiving is concerned.
As you can see, we got a Hamilton guy down, and so in comes 450 pounds of Albert Valentine now into the huddle. So we'll see with that kind of size in there, it would not surprise me that they're going to run in behind him. We'll see what they decide to do, especially here on possibly a second and really short. It looks like after the measurement, it's going to be really, really close. Wouldn't be surprised if they tighten their splits down on the O-line and just mow ahead with the size of their O-line. As I was saying, I did a quick math at the beginning. I think they're 1,495 pounds of mass up front on their starting offensive line, which includes 400 plus pounds of number 67, Valentine.
Valentine will be playing the left tackle position.
And there you go. You can see the tight splits by the O-line and an extra tight end in there as well.
And under center, there's the play action over the top, and it will be in for a touchdown. Number 51, one of those tight ends you were talking about, Anthony Federico from Niagara Falls, Ontario. And with that, the Hamilton Hurricanes quickly take a 13-10 lead.
Well, great little play selection. Second and very, very short. Likely going to get it right. Suck them all in, and over the top goes number 51. And again, there's going to be someone on the defense responsible for him. But again, going with that play action, the run game has been successful when they've gone to it and paid off there with a little bit of a trick play. And it was a great call and great execution by the Hamilton team.
Kind of something like a jump pass, wasn't it?
It kind of was. It's just a quick play action. So, again, all you're trying to do is draw them in. And, again, 2nd and 1, you know, usually you have a linebacker waiting because, again, it may be hard to stop. But they were undisciplined and, again, pulled in by that run action.
All right, Rakeel with the point after with 2:58 to go here in this first quarter. Hamilton Hurricanes, after getting behind 10-0, 2 straight touchdowns, they now lead by a score of 14-10. And the Wildcats, well, here we go with a little bit of extracurricular. They're just carrying on the tradition of the 1977 game where there was a lot of that going on, apparently. I didn't see the game, but talking to some of the players, there was a lot of that stuff going on.
You know what? I think it's been part of football for a long, long time, and none of these players on the field tonight were even alive during that game. I know I was still in diapers when that game was happening, but again, the same thing happens in football. Those emotions get going, and again, both teams really fighting for something here. The Cats fighting for that win, and of course, Hamilton really working to battle in the field or in the playoff spots out in Ontario.
They are in a virtual tie right now with the Ottawa Sooners for that 4th and final playoff berth, so they need a win very desperately. Rakeel will do the kicking honors once again for the Hamilton Hurricanes. Wildcats with a couple of receivers sitting at around the 5-yard line. Another good end-over-end kick down to the 10-yard line, taken there by Howe. Finds some room on the outside, tries to skip around one tackler and is taken down from behind on a nice shoestring tackle there by number 25, Creighton Chartier.
Another nice kick, and again, you can see here he had quite a bit of space ahead of him, which is good for the Edmonton Wildcats in the return game. Get your feet moving early and then try to get bodies on bodies. And again, solid kicker for the Hamilton team, driving it deep. And then the coverage team, they looked a little slower. Not sure if they were a little slower, but definitely space was created to give up a little bit of a good return for Edmonton. So working just inside their own 35.
All right, out of the I formation now. Bray Josu is the lone setback. Motion goes left. Cody Olsen rolling that way. Takes off with it once again, gets around one tackler, and then is taken down after a quick slip and gains perhaps a yard or so on the play. And he's almost too willing to take off with the football.
I was going to just say the same thing. Again, he's still got to run the system. He's still got to have his eyes downfield. If it's play action, if it's a slide protection, getting him to the outside, he's still got to have his eyes downfield. Again, if you're an athletic quarterback, sometimes you can rely on your legs a little bit too much, and that defense can close in a hurry once they know you're able to run the ball.
All right, the ball is on the 35-yard line. 2nd and 8. Back in the pocket now, looking downfield, being chased. And the pass is complete to Bray Josu, Joseph takes it to midfield, still going with it. Makes a couple of nice moves and is finally tripped up at about the 45-yard line. There is a flag on the play, and I think it's going to be a horse-collar tackle against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, or the Hamilton Hurricanes. But we'll have to wait and see. No, they're going to bring the football back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the call was. We'll see in the replay. I'm not sure if Cody got his hand in the face mask, I think, of the defensive player, and I think that's what they saw.
Number 16, face masking. 15-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, really unfortunate for Edmonton and very fortunate for Hamilton. Not really intentional, just trying to keep him away and buy himself a little bit more time to deliver that ball. Unfortunately, got his hands caught up in the face mask and ended up pushing on it and really negating what was a really great pass and run.
But how many times have we seen that this season? The shooting of the foot.
Well, it happens a lot. I haven't seen the quarterback shoot themselves in the foot a whole lot, so let's see if Cody can recover and complete this second and very long now.
Motion goes to the right now, back in the pocket. Looking downfield is Cody Olsen, and he is tackled from behind, and will lose another extra couple yards or so, and the Wildcats will be forced to kick this one away.
So for the first half of this quarter, you can see Edmonton own field position with the aid of special teams, of course, starting that all off and their defense getting a couple stops. And now Hamilton has really flipped it to the other way, and now they're owning the field position battle. And the difference in this game was Hamilton was able to convert when they got down close and take care of it with 2 touchdowns, and Edmonton coming away with no points on the first drive and only 10-3 on the 2 after that.
All right, Matt Zeroni, the punt is blocked. The ball is loose at the 10-yard line. Picked up there by big number 95, Mike Langley. And Langley is tackled just this side of the 5-yard line. And once again, the Hurricanes with outstanding field position.
Yeah, well, you talk about the 3 phases of the game. In this case, it was special team for Hamilton that made a great play. And just to compound the problems for Edmonton, now they've just turned the ball over inside their own 10, and Hamilton is poised to get more points here.
It looked like big number 58, Spencer Turpin, in there to make the block on that attempted punt.
A little surprised that Zeroni didn't pull that down and take off. I know it's really hard to do that as a punter, but for a punter who typically will run the ball and they have no problem sending him off running, unfortunately they're in tough right now.
Out of the eye, back in the pocket now. Marquette looks left, fires, and it is incomplete. Go off the post.
It did, right off the horizontal bar of the uprights. No chance there for the receiver to catch that. Although you throw that 10 on 10 times, you may only hit it once, but that time was the one, and that may have been the play that helped out Edmonton.
Strangely enough, that was what hurt the Wildcats last week in the game as well. Had happened to them once.
That's true. It did. It did.
It all goes around. All right, down to 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. 14-10 lead for the Hamilton Hurricanes deep in Edmonton territory. Back in the pocket, looking into the end, looking short and complete at about the 2-yard line, and taken down there was number 2, David Adeniran. We have a flag in the backfield, and I believe one just along the goal line as well.
Yeah, I think this may have been against Hamilton, so negating the gain and maybe moving them back. It looks like the refs are talking to Edmonton, and they're going to march the ball back.
All right, bit of a break then.
Number 63, Hamilton, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Holding is the call against Matt Verbrugge.
Well, good break. Again, they ran that 6-receiver package. Again, something Edmonton has not really seen a lot of, so that's something new their defense is going to have to learn to handle, and sometimes that really challenges the defense to play a little bit more man-to-man coverage, which maybe they're not as comfortable with.
All right, ball is on the 16-yard line. It is second down. Little play action. Pass, screen pass complete there to number 2, David Adeniran. And Adeniran is taken down after a gain of about maybe 3 yards on the play. So, again, the Wildcats defense holds this time.
Yeah, and again, complicated play. Multiple actions in the backfield. One to the running back, one to a jet sweep guy. And then they had to get that screen pass over. Good job. And we've talked before about the Edmonton secondary, and that time it was Dalkey in there forcing the running back to stop his feet and letting kind of the cavalry come and reduce the gain or limit the gain to just a yard or so.
Well, I know that the Wildcats were watching quite a bit of film on this team, and they say they like to do a few trick plays every now and then, so we'll be looking forward to seeing that. Here's the snap, and the field goal will go wide and over the touchline, and a single point for the Hamilton Hurricanes.
You know, definitely a win for Edmonton after a turnover in their own end. To only come away with 1 point is going to be disappointing for Hamilton and their coaching staff and their players. But again, nonetheless, they've taken the lead off of a couple plays and a couple, taking advantage of the good field position they've had here in the second part of that first quarter.
The Hurricanes run mostly a 40 defense. And one of the things that Coach Hayes told me was that they want to really try and create some havoc. But let's take a look here and tell you about some of the sponsors that that look after this Wildcats football team. DentalChoice.ca, JC Boiler Service Limited, the Rough Rider, Flamin Fitness, OTR Kitchen and Drink, WestJet, and of course McElhaney. And right behind all that is the Laz sign, and let's go downstairs right now. Here is Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Had a quick chat with Megan Tanner, the general manager of the Wildcats, and she wanted to let Wildcat fans know about the upcoming annual banquet coming up on November 17th. Contact the Wildcats next week for ticket information. And, of course, one of the biggest fundraisers for the Wildcats comes up until the end of the season. That is the Wildcat WestJet raffle. It's only $10 per ticket, and the big winner will get a flight to anywhere WestJet flies within Canada. So take a flight to Ottawa and, take a stroll through the University of Ottawa, and you can actually follow the same paths as our two favorite members of the GG alumni upstairs, Dave Rozak and Rob Harrod. So it's a bonus trip right away. So get in on that, the Wildcats WestJet raffle. So back up to the GGs.
I don't think I remember most of those footsteps, to be honest with you.
Actually, this is a special weekend back in Ottawa. My fellow teammates are celebrating a team back when I was playing that appeared in the Vanier Cup, and so a lot of my friends have congregated back in Ottawa for the weekend for a nice big alumni event back there.
Where it's a lot warmer than it is here, I can tell you that. 30 degrees, I believe, the last couple of days, and some high humidity as well. So Hamilton quite happy to be out here in this weather, according to Coach Jason Hayes. Cody Olsen with the handoff straight up the middle this time to Bray Josu. And Josu is taken down after a gain of about 8 yards. And that play was kind of a setup from the other plays earlier in the first quarter?
I think so, yeah. You can see here on the replay, again, a little bit of a counter, a little bit of motion to the left and then coming back. And so, again, you're often getting running backs to look at the cutback lane, okay? If teams start to really adjust to the front side run, then they're looking to kind of cut in behind all their offensive line and see a little space there, and you could find some 7-8 yards there on that play.
All right, twin setbacks this time. Handoff again to Josu, and Josu looking to get up to about the 45-yard line is stopped well short. And it'll be a gain of perhaps a yard or so on the play, but not much more than that. And the Wildcats are going to have to kick this one away with 14:07 to go in the first half.
Well, unfortunately for the Edmonton Wildcats, they could not convert that second and short. Again, that's the position you want to be in when you're talking about an offense. You have a good first down production, and that usually is a good indicator of how your offense is going to perform. Unfortunately, they couldn't get even a yard and a half there to give them a chance to go for on third. They're going to have to punt this away, and of course, let's shore up that protection on the punt.
Matt Zeroni from about the 32-yard line gets a good one away down to about the 35, taken there by number 15, Trey Ivey, and Ivey is stopped after a short gain.
Well, great coverage by the Edmonton Wildcats, containing Hamilton, not to more than a few yards on that return. Again, we talked about discipline and the need for that on special teams and on both sides of the ball. But they're really good disciplined players. They kind of surrounded him really in a great horseshoe, stayed outside that 5-yard halo to avoid any penalties, and then contained the return to just a couple.
In other words, they did what they were supposed to do.
They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Coach is going to be happy with that.
All right, ball on the 42-yard line in Hamilton territory. The Hurricanes 1st and 10. Jake Marquette is the quarterback. And again, 6 receivers headed downfield. Quick pass on this side, taken there and complete just over the 45-yard line by Trey Ivey. And Ivey is stopped short of the first down after a gain of we'll call it close to 8 yards or so.
You can see Hamilton going back to that spread offense. I don't know if it's the air in Ontario or if it's the coaches in Ontario, but again, they like to spread it out, bring 6 receivers. I remember doing lots of that playing back in university. And again, you can see Hamilton taking advantage, allowing the quarterback to read the field and say, hey, which guy am I going to go after this time?
All right, something new for the Wildcats to think about as far as their defense is concerned. And again, this time 5 receivers headed downfield, and the handoff right up the middle to number 2, Adeniran. And David Adeniran carries it all the way over the 50-yard line. He'll pick up a gain of close to 12 yards on the play, and it'll be more than enough for the first down.
Well, when we talk about exchanges, you can see on this, it was a really quick exchange, and I mean, it hit it so fast, there was no doubt. And then you can see 2, 3, 4 tackles almost at the running back. We talked earlier about his feet never stopping. You can see there, extra 5, 6 yards, not allowing the defense to take him down easily.
That's when you can start going sideways and break those tackles instead of going forward.
Yeah, we'll watch for that. I don't want. He may be busting one before the night's over.
All right, there's the pass complete on the far side in the flats to number 21, Giovanni Ellis. Ellis wearing 21 tonight rather than his usual 11.
And you can see there that time they just lined up in 6 receiver. When we talk about 6 receivers, it's players playing those positions. They didn't actually have to change their personnel. They had a running back. Their running back was out there in the running back position, but playing as a receiver. So again, obviously, very mobile running back, very quick running back, able to run routes. Looks like we've got a quarterback change too. I think number 3 is in the game now.
Jake Marquette is the quarterback. And Marquette hands it off, left side. Needed to get to about the 38-yard line. It looks like a gain of close to, just almost to the first down marker, but short by about maybe a yard and a half or so.
Well, we'll see what they decide to do. I imagine they're going to try to go for it. Imagine they're going to do a quick hitter up the middle. We'll see if they can execute this.
Mark the ball right down on the 40-yard line. They call it 3rd and 2. And I believe there is going to be a timeout. The offense going off the field, talking about it on the bench, so the Hamilton Hurricanes call a timeout. Good time for it.
Yeah, and you talk about momentum in the game, and we saw it already change early in this game. Edmonton had momentum coming out of the gates, emotional, Alumni on the field maybe playing a part of that injection, but they're going to talk about being disciplined. They're going to have to stay disciplined in all aspects of the game and continuing that because they kind of lost the momentum. And then Hamilton kind of took control, got a couple scores quick, and now Edmonton's chance here to maybe on a 3rd and 1.5 yards, 2 yards to try to pull some of that momentum back, get their offense on the field here close to the 40-yard line if they can come up with a big stop against this big offensive line and an offense that has been moving the ball.
Well, we know for sure that this defense is capable of doing exactly that. And we will see with 3rd down and 2, ball on the 40-yard line. Taking off with the football right up the middle is Marquette, and Marquette plows over the 38-yard line to about the 36, and he'll gain about 3 yards on the play and enough for the first down.
Well, interesting decision to spread everybody out, pull as many guys outside the box as you can, and just say, I'm going to rely on my quarterback and 5 offensive linemen to get me the 1.5 yards or 2 that we needed to keep the drive alive.
Well, you can do that when you've got a couple of almost 1,500 pounds?
You got a couple of guys that equate to 2 guys sometimes, so.
All right, Marquette back in the pocket now. He's looking downfield, fires, intercepted on the 20-yard line, but I think we're going to have a penalty call against the Wildcats, and it's going to be an interference call, although when you look at it, and we'll see it on the replay, it was nowhere near the intended receiver.
Well, the flag came out late as well. Again, if there's kind of holding, we're going to see what these refs can figure out. But again, ball wasn't really catchable. Not sure what they're going to make a decision on here.
Well, they may say that the defender hindered the receiver from getting to the football too.
Yeah, and if you do, again, they're going to call that every time, even if it's not close enough to the receiver, because if you're holding them, it probably won't be close enough to the receiver.
All right, it is going to go against the Wildcats.
Defensive pass interference, Edmonton, number 2, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that was the call on Troy Savchuk. And with that, the football will be
Correction
moved.
on that last, it'll be at point of foul. It was less than 15 yards.
So they will move the football all the way down to the 26-yard line. And the Hurricanes have another first down. So Hamilton on the march with 10:14 to go in the first half. Back in the pocket, Marquette looking into the end zone. He has a man open. It is incomplete and intended down there. I believe it was number 23, Emmett Butt. And he just couldn't hold on to it. Good job of defending by Brady Kerr out of Spruce Grove.
Yeah, you know, you can see here on the replay, he's running a little bit of a corner route. He laid it out there for him. Great job by the DB to close that gap and really time that perfectly. As the ball arrived, he gets his arm out. So again, you often talk to defensive backs and tell them in coverage, if you can't turn around because you're in full stride, when the receiver has his arms come out, obviously looking to catch the ball, that's when you need to bring your arms through to eliminate that.
Marquette took a pretty big hit too on that pass. And there's the pass. It is incomplete on the far side, in and out of the hands of Giovanni Ellis. And with that, once again, the Wildcats defense holds, and they'll force another field goal attempt.
Yeah, good job by the defense, although they gave up some yards and a chance at 3 points here. Defense decided to, or did a great job holding them, defending the pass in the end zone, and then really reading that play and coming down quickly on the screen. And again, out of that same formation, we see that 6 receiver pack is just trying to run a little bit of screen and get yourself some running room. Unfortunately, it was dropped.
There's a bad snap. The ball is loose. It's bouncing around, and I guess they're going to call that an incomplete pass. The holder tried to throw it up in the air, and so it'll be first down for the Wildcats, and they dodge a big bullet on that one. Let's go downstairs once again. Here is Kevin.
Thanks, Dave. As the Wildcats get ready for this next offensive series, the offensive coaches were really focusing on the quarterback play and pre-snap reads. As Rob mentioned earlier, it's about getting ready and getting Olsen set in the pocket. Back to you, Dave.
I think that may be one of the reasons they went to 2 straight running plays, too, on that last series, just to get them settled down a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that. We'll see what he can do here on this series.
All right, Cody Olsen at quarterback. Fires the long one. He has a man open, complete at the 45. No, they call it incomplete. It looked like he had the ball, and when he hit the ground, it squirted loose.
Yeah, and I think he got contact early because there is a flag thrown right at that play, so I imagine it's likely going against Hamilton, and they are going to gain a few yards on this penalty.
All right, we'll wait and see what the call is. It's going to go against the Hamilton Hurricanes, and it will be pass interference. That'll move the ball.
Defensive pass interference, Hamilton, number 23, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So it will move it up to about the 41-yard line.
Well, the reception would have been nice, would have put them in Hamilton territory. Unfortunately, couldn't quite come down with the ball and secure it, but 15 yards gets them kind of out of the shadows of their goalpost, and offense has a chance at 1st and 10.
All right, Bray Josu is the lone setback. Motion goes to the right and left. We've got 5 receivers headed downfield. Olsen looks downfield and then takes off with it, and he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a sack. And in there to make the tackle was number 64, James Sides.
Well, Hamilton got away with one here. The receiver on the inside of the right, he actually got his jersey grabbed, swung around. I think that's exactly where Olsen was looking. Again, once he got swung to the ground, no one to throw it to, he had to take off. And that's where the vulnerability of that defense was going to be. There was a hole in the middle. And again, the linebacker didn't want to let him in there. Refs missed a holding call there, which is going to put them in 2nd and long.
2nd and about 13 for the Wildcats. And we have a timeout being called from the bench on the Edmonton Wildcats. So Cody Olsen will head to the bench. He'll be talking with Colton Hippie and Justin Swedish, as well as the coaching staff. trying to get something going on this next series.
Something that I liked that I just saw, we were on that deep pass actually, and again, it wasn't actually the deep pass, but what they were doing in the backfield is they ran a swing pass, and we saw that last week against the Huskies, and the Huskies were all over that with their linebackers. Tonight, he checked to the swing pass, and then he ended up going back downfield, and I think that's the whole idea, is that the swing pass is a later option, and if you can buy a little bit of time and get downfield with the ball, you're going to create opportunities like we saw there with the deep pass. It ended up being a pass interference call, but again, moved the ball for them. So it's nice to see the young quarterback going through his progressions, not always taking the easy dump pass and hoping a guy makes someone miss, but threatening the defense of the Hamilton Hurricanes downfield to say, hey, we will throw deep if you're not going to cover us.
Again, out of the I formation, Bray Josu moves to the right. Looking downfield, passes up there, and it is complete at the 40-yard line. And in there to make that catch was number 83, and that is Carson, or make that Carter Lawson.
Well,
Wow.
and what
How
a
did he hold
bomb
on
by
to
the young quarterback. And again, fighting for the ball on the back end of that. But he threw that across the field from the far hash, very, very deep. Hit the receiver in stride. The DB was in great position, just couldn't make a play on the ball. And the Edmonton Wildcat won the battle for the ball on that one.
It looked like Lawson actually had to reach over the top of the defender to pull that one down. There's the handoff up the middle to Josu, and Josu is stopped after a gain of perhaps a yard or so on the play. But yeah, just a great catch. And the thing is that pass was, as you said, across the field, but it had that tight spiral on it all the way.
Very well thrown ball. And you can see here on the run play, and we're going to talk all day probably about that read option. You could see the quarterback was riding him a little bit longer, which actually draws him back down into the pile because he took a couple side steps, which sometimes can take away the effectiveness of it. And again, they've got a dynamic running back and a quarterback who can move. We'll see what they do here.
Back in the pocket now. Olsen. Throwing downfield, he's got the long bomb going. It is complete at the, oh no, they call it incomplete again. Squirting out of the hands of the intended receiver, Carter Lawson, just as he hit the ground, and Lawson hit the ground heavily, and I think may have had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, he looks, I mean, he is fighting for every ball that is thrown up, and again, with deep coverage.
51 Hamilton, 15-yard penalty, first down.
You know, he is just leaving the turf, going to try to catch every ball. And you can see here the penalty is going to keep this drive alive. A little bit of a late hit. But again, I haven't seen the receivers so aggressive to the ball. And I also haven't seen quarterbacks for the Wildcats actually throw that ball downfield like they have been tonight.
Well, on that, and full credit to Carter Lawson. I mean, he sacrificed his body on that catch attempt. But he landed on his right shoulder, and that's what they're looking at right now down at field level. Training staff. I thought maybe it might have been just a case of getting the wind knocked out, but I see on the replay he landed very heavily on his shoulder.
Well, he's definitely sacrificing himself. You know, you could see a few times just going up, doing what he can to make plays for his team, really trying to motivate his guys, keep his guys going, and keep this offense on the field.
Carter is one of three sets of brothers on this football team. Of course, his other brother is Mackenzie Lawson, and they are both from Wainwright. Carter is 6'1", 175-pound rookie, whereas Mackenzie is in his second year. He's 6'2", 185, and so obviously Mackenzie had a great deal to do with getting Carter to come out and try out for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Guys, just to jump in here, Kevin down here at field level, they are taking a look at the what appears to be the left collarbone, and they're going to roll him over here, but he is in a considerable, Lawson's in a considerable amount of pain, and it would appear to be the left shoulder, and he's getting up very gingerly on that, so it's good to see him back up on his feet, but could be a collarbone or a shoulder, guys.
And that can be pretty painful. Here, take a look at it once again, and we'll see where he lands.
And he is not moving his left arm at all, guys. That left arm is he's keeping it very, very still. So it's the first indication of either a bad shoulder or a collarbone. They were looking at the collarbone very closely, guys, and we'll keep you up to date.
So Carter Lawson injured on the play, and it'll be first down and 10 for the Wildcats. Here's the handoff, or make that play action. Pass is complete on the far side, and out there to Lucas Howe. Howe tries to get around the defender but can't, and will pick up a gain of perhaps, we'll call it 4 yards or so. It'll be second and about 6.
Again, the effect of a good running game. Guys coming down, actually tackling the running back even though he doesn't have the ball. That's exactly what you want. And we're also seeing the quarterback doing his part in the offensive system, pulling it when they collapse down. So he's really reading that defensive end really well.
Bray Josu remains the lone setback, and that in itself is a good thing. There's the snap. Looking downfield, Olsen fakes once, now takes off with it, gets around the outside. He's at the 15, the 10, and taken out of bounds just over the 10-yard line. And that was just some quick thinking, and again, a little bit of an option play for the young man.
Well, we're seeing some great quarterback play tonight. Again, he's still looking downfield, and you can see as he escapes, he's looking downfield, trying to find the guy, making that decision late as he possibly can. Hey, now I'm going to take off and go. Can I get the first down? He got the sticks, and he found himself in first down territory.
And the ball is marked down at just this side of the 10-yard line. So it'll be first and 10 for the Edmonton Wildcats. Deep in Hurricanes territory. Motion goes left. Movement all over the football field. There's the pass, and it is going to be picked off in the end zone. A mix-up in the route there, and Hamilton coming back with it at the 40-yard line, and that is Zach Sibley still going with it. And finally, he will be stopped after a huge run back of about 65 yards or so. We have a penalty on the play, but clearly when we look at this pass once again.
Well, definitely miscommunication. The receiver that was out there was not running a route. He actually ran out to block him. The DB kept backpedaling, saw the ball thrown in the air, and just waited for the ball to come down. So definitely some miscommunication or something misheard in the huddle. And what an unfortunate thing for Edmonton to be in the red zone inside the 10-yard line with an opportunity to get points. Great play by Hamilton defense. And you know what? Making the most of the opportunity that was handed to them. So they're going to have to sort that out and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, ironically, it was Mackenzie Lawson who had the mix-up on that route, and whether he was supposed to be blocking, whether he was supposed to be going for the football, just obviously replacing his younger brother Carter.
Hamilton, number 50, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 55, unnecessary losses. Loss of 30 yards, first down.
Well, if there's anything positive we can take from the run back is they got 30 yards of it back, and so that's going to put their defense in a little bit better position to defend this drive.
All right, we've got another injured Wildcat down there on the far side of the field, and it's one of the big guys, number 65, Albani Laderoute. And Laderoute is up and coming off under his own steam. Looks like he'll be okay and back in the football game a little bit later. Still taking a look at number 83 for the Wildcats. That is Carter Lawson. And
again, not a play, not a group of players typically ready to run all over the field chasing guys down. You mean the offensive line are not typically used to doing that. So on an interception like that, if there's a little bit of open space, those guys are really challenged. And you could see running around, someone got caught up and took a fall.
All right, so it'll be first down for the Hamilton Hurricanes. Jake Marquette at quarterback. 5 receivers downfield this time and looking to the sidelines. The pass is incomplete. Intended on the far side there for number 21. Again, Giovanni Ellis, and Ellis just could not catch up to that one. Let's go downstairs now. Once again, here is Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Dave. They have removed the shoulder pads from Carter Lawson, and Dr. Adams is now taking a close look. And I can say, guys, I mean, I've seen a lot of, injuries and bumps and bruises, but right now Carter Lawson is in an incredible amount of pain, but he's in great hands with Dr. Adams. Back to you, guys.
You got that right. All right. Once again, back in the pocket and looking downfield now. Getting out of it is Jake Marquette. Couldn't find anybody to throw it to and slides over the 20-yard line. He needed to get to about the 25 for the first down. And that time, a good job of coverage downfield by the Wildcat.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times tonight. You know, we've seen it go both ways. Sometimes 6 receivers has really played into the favor of Hamilton, and when the Wildcats can lock those guys down and have tight coverage, forcing the quarterback to take off and run and make something up.
Do you feel like they need to go more to that man-on-man or defense?
You know what? I think they're going to be forced to do that. It's really hard to defend 6 receivers.
Hamilton, number 54. That's been declined. 3rd down.
It's hard defending 6 receivers, especially if you're not used to playing 6 guys in coverage, because they've got 6 guys they can run routes, they can get into open space. And again, typically you're playing with 4 cover guys and maybe a free safety. So now you're either forcing your linebackers into cover situations that they're not used to, or you're forcing a little bit of a personnel change. So maybe bringing an extra kind of DB onto the field instead of your 3 linebackers. But again, if you're bringing 3 linebackers, or you bring a linebacker off and a DB on, now you're in a position where you're vulnerable to the run game. And Hamilton's doing a great job of keeping their running back on the field. So based on personnel, you can't make that change on the defensive side.
4:11 to go in the first half. There's a short end-over-end kick. It bounces in favor of the Wildcats and is jumped on very quickly by Isaiah Brown. And a little extracurricular activity once again on the sidelines. But almost took care of one of our cameras down there.
Yeah, we would have been short of camera for the rest of the game, but I see there's 2 flags on the side, 1 on the field, and so there's going to be some penalties with the aftermath of that game. But needless to say, you know what, we've seen Edmonton have a tough time punting out of that end of the field, and now it's Hamilton's turn. They another little punt that just basically went to the sideline.
And so great field position for the Wildcats. It'll obviously be a 5-yard, no yards penalty. Now they're talking to Hamilton as well.
No yards. Hamilton, number 55. Correction, number 45. 5-yard penalty. 1st down. Move the sticks.
So the little extracurricular didn't result in any yards, but the no yards gives them a little bit closer. So once again, Edmonton inside Hamilton territory with great position to start this drive. Now they need to convert it into some points.
Lots of time on the clock. Motion goes to the left. 4 receivers out. There's the handoff to Josu, and Josu tries the right side, but not going anywhere as that defensive line read that one very quickly. In on the tackle for the Hamilton Hurricanes was number 59, Zach Hoffner.
Also, I think we've got Justin Swedish now in the game at quarterback for the Edmonton Wildcats. So again, Darcy's done a really good job of using different quarterbacks in different situations throughout this year, maybe by force because they're just not getting what they want. But we've got Swedish in the game now here in the red zone, see if he can convert.
Good catch, Justin Swedish at quarterback. Ray Josu, the running back. There's the pass into the end zone. It is almost picked off and just out of the hands of number 23, Emmett Putt, as Swedish throwing into coverage. And once again, let's go down to a very busy Kevin Donovan.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. And I wish I had better news from the Wildcat sideline. Carter Lawson, his night is over. Dr. Adams has put that left arm into a sling. He's still in considerable pain. So I think he's got a trip to the hospital here coming up very shortly. But Carter Lawson's night is over, guys.
Sounds, well, we won't surmise on what type of injury, but obviously it's a collarbone problem. There's the field goal attempt, and it is going to be good all the way from the 32-yard line. Great job by Tanner Holt, and that moves the Wildcats to within 2 points with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, not only is he going to be lost on the field in his ability, because obviously we've seen him working hard and making plays, but I think, you know, the emotional piece too, you know, knowing you have a guy that now is out of the offense. But again, next man up, so now it's someone else's turn to go out and make plays and allow this offense to continue to get some points and keep on churning out some yards.
And by all appearances, the next man up is likely to be his big brother, Mackenzie.
Well, nothing like filling in for your brother.
You know, speaking of which, I talked to Jordan Olson, who is the quarterbacking coach, and of course is the brother of Cody Olson, and he's really impressed with how his young brother has come along so quickly in this last week or so, although not being out there right now. All right, back in the pocket again is Marquette, looks into the middle, and the pass is complete, breaks a couple of tackles. Heading downfield is Trey Ivy, and Ivy is finally stopped just over the 50-yard line after a pickup of about 17 yards on the play.
You know, we're going to have to make sure Edmonton is going to have to get some tackles. You've seen a number of occasions, whether it's on runs or passes in open field. You've got two guys missing the tackle there, another guy outrunning it. And again, last guy finally getting them down eventually. But again, they're giving up too many yards because of missed tackles.
All right, it'll be 1st and 10. Ball is on the 53-yard line. Still in Hamilton territory with 2:25 to go. Hamilton leading 15-13. Good football game here at Clarke Park in Edmonton. There's a pass into the middle, wide open. Again, a mix-up in coverage. And again, complete to Trey Ivy. And Ivy is knocked down at about the 40-yard line. About the 38 is where they'll mark it. And again, a mix-up in coverage.
Well, again, you're going into that zone, and it looks like he just did a slow drag. He was almost going to follow the guy, but the first guy went under and pulled the linebackers. And you can see here, first guy across the screen is going to draw those guys across. Second guy in just waits in the massive hole that was created by the first guy. So, again, great play design by Hamilton and great execution. Just, hey, read the zone. There's the space. Sit down, and then the quarterback had time, of course, with this offensive line giving him time. He's going to be able to deliver the ball if they sit in a zone.
Under 2 minutes to go in this first half. Back in the pocket again. Marquette looks into the middle, complete once again. That middle is wide open between the defensive line and the linebackers. And the ball taken by David Adeniran, and he'll pick up another big gain, enough for the first down, as there seems to be an opening.
Well, Hamilton, you can see here again, attacking the linebacking core. And we're going to go back to the discussion we had a little bit earlier about personnel. When you can go with your running back personnel lined up as receivers, it's going to create mismatches, and sometimes the mismatches happen in the secondary. In this case, the linebackers just don't have the speed to keep up with these running backs that are coming underneath, delayed routes coming under. They're finding them in a hurry, and off they go to the races, and they're going to have to rally to make tackles and shut those things down, or get pressure on the quarterback before he has a chance to deliver it.
All right, timeout being called by the Hamilton Hurricanes. They take the football over, and it's going to be on they take the football down to about the 23-yard line. All right, that Wildcat
timeout.
Timeout by the Wildcats, although they're not discussing anything on the field. Rather, the Hurricanes are. Strange.
Maybe it was a break for their defense. Again, drive after drive, and again, a lot of guys chasing guys down. Just give them a break, see if they can keep them out of the end zone in the dying minutes of the second quarter.
Wildcats have seen that happen to themselves once too often in the last couple of weeks against the Huskies, of course. Looking downfield, the pass is almost picked off just over the outstretched hands of number 26, Jack Jones, out of McNally High School.
Well, great job by him. You can see he pushed to the flats and got almost out there to pick it off. But again, that's what they need to do when they drop into the zone. And we've talked the difference between the zone and the man. And for football fans out there who may not be familiar with that, basically man-to-man coverage is exactly that. One guy on defense covering each guy on offense that comes out of the backfield. A zone is basically you're covering an area of the field. And again, the job of the quarterback is to find the space.
And this time the quarterback just takes off with it once again right up the middle, Jake Marquette. And we've seen him run that play a couple of times. He'll be short of the first down, but again, that is something that has to be in the back of the minds of the defense.
Yeah, Marquette not afraid to run. You can see doing a good job as a quarterback to hook slide, but again, looking for a call, maybe contact to the helmet, maybe some face mask. Wasn't called, and they're going to be faced with, it looks like, a third down and about a yard.
All right. A minute 29 to go, and this time I think we have a timeout being called by Hamilton, which I can say with a great deal of certainty.
Yeah, they want to make sure they get the right call here. Again, in a great position to
Timeout, Hamilton.
Great position to extend their lead here going into the half, and they're going to want to make sure they get this one right.
And the last time they were in this position with third and about 2 yards, they used that quarterback draw. Very similar to what Marquette just ran.
Yeah, they've done a couple things on short yards. We saw the first trick play, obviously, packing it in, toe-to-toe, get 2,000 pounds of meat in front of you, and then did a little trick play over the top. And then second time through, like you said, went right to the draw and just spread things out. So we'll see what they come out this time.
All kinds of options for this Hamilton Hurricanes club. As I mentioned, they do like to do the trick plays every now and then. Jason Hayes is one of those kind of guys that likes to throw in the odd wrinkle.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, I don't know if that's an Ontario thing, but Ontario just they seem to be creative. Where here you're a little bit more traditional. Let's pound the ball. Let's do things fundamentally sound. And so we're seeing, you know, a little bit of a different style of offense, a little bit of a different style of play calling, which I think is very exciting. And they're doing a great job using their personnel in different formations. And here we have 3 on each side with the quarterback standing back there by himself.
From the snap. Play action, pass in the middle. It is complete. Actually, a quick screen pass on this side, and it is taken there by number 23, Emmett Putt. And Putt really with nobody around him.
So with great personnel comes the ability to change things up. So they started in 6 and they brought a running back down, a little bit of play action, and slid a guy out underneath. Very difficult for defenders to track a guy all the way across the field when he's behind the line of scrimmage because there's so much going off. And you can see there, he got open, he had the speed to get to the outside and put him in great scoring position right here.
And at the 4-yard line, first down for the Hurricanes. Back in the pocket, Marquette looks into the end zone. There is a mix-up and almost intercepted as back there was Kober. Kober almost pulled that one off, and it looked like the receiver kind of broke the route off at the last minute.
It looked like there was an outside receiver coming into the post and then an inside receiver going to the corner, which is okay in and of itself. The problem is the ball was released early enough that an extra DB kind of fell off the ball, and you can see here as he throws it to the corner, you throw it to a spot. There's 2 DBs in that position covering that space. And again, the desire of the quarterback was likely to get it a little bit closer to the corner of the end zone where only his receiver would have had a chance to catch the ball.
Josh Kober probably kicking himself for kicking himself in the end zone. There's the pass. It is incomplete, but we're going to have a roughing the passer call, and it's going to go against the Wildcats, the big guy, number 98, Evan Kochesarli.
Yeah, again, not great timing for a play like that. Again, the defense came up with a big stop. Just a little bit of extra. Didn't need to hit the quarterback, but again, some of those emotions are going.
Number 98, first down on the 1-yard line.
As you get emotional, you're trying to make a play, and just that little bit of extra, you've got to be disciplined. And again, that could be the difference between 3 and 7 points. We'll see what Hamilton can do with it.
All right, ball is down the 1-yard line. First down for the Hamilton Hurricanes with 46.1 seconds to go in the first half. Under center is Jake Marquette. Marquette plows ahead, and let's wait for the signal. It goes, and it is a touchdown for the Hamilton Hurricanes. Jake Marquette with the quarterback sneak.
You know, Hamilton willing to just rely on the O-line. They feel like they can win that battle if it's for a yard or two. And you can see there they just relied on the O-line, spread everybody out, and let the quarterback get into the end zone.
Edmonton has been declined. Touchdown.
Offside, the call against the Wildcats, of course, declined. No question about that. And the Hurricanes now leading by a score of 21-13 late here in the first half. And just a series of breaks going both ways, but finally it ended up all in favor of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it ended up coming down to that. Really, it was the late hit on the quarterback. Not needed, not really an effort penalty either, right? There's some penalties that, again, you're working hard. Sometimes that happens. In this case, that was just an undisciplined penalty that gave Hamilton the opportunity to put it in the end zone. And so now the lead for Hamilton is increased. Again, they're just being patient. You know, in essence, in that drive, they just let Edmonton do the work for them in some cases. And so Edmonton gave them the extra chance, and they took full advantage of that to build on their lead here going into the half.
42.9 seconds to go now in this first half of football, and a good half of football it's been, too. It's been up and down. Both teams have created some momentum and then lost it and gotten it back again. So it's I think we're going to be in for a pretty exciting second half of football.
Yeah, everything's looking to point in that direction. And again, it starts right here. You know, Edmonton's going to want to try to, I mean, they don't have a lot of time, but hey, if they can set up a nice return here, and you could see special teams coach out there talking to the guys, hey, let's do our job. Let's not take any penalties, and you never know. A big play can happen. They almost busted one to start the game off for a touchdown. They may have another one ready here.
Hey, Eddie the Rabbit is back. Eddie the Rabbit is down there sitting at about the 15-yard line. That's always a good omen for the Wildcats.
Wants some of the action.
Short kick to the 35-yard line, up to the 45. And finally being tackled at around the 38-yard line or 48-yard line was number 21, Jaden Dalkey.
Yeah, again, we talked about different types of kicks, and that's just a kick not putting it in the hands of the returners, although it almost cost them because Jaden almost had a chance to break that last tackle. And there we have Speedy the Rabbit out there.
Eddie.
Wanting to get, or Eddie, yeah, Eddie the Rabbit, sorry.
Eddie probably wishes he was with the FC Eddies down in San Francisco right now where it's nice and warm. Single setback. Swedish, the quarterback, hands it off to Bray Josu. He reverses field and gets up to over the 50-yard line and is taken down at about the 51 with 31.7 seconds to go. Good job by Bray Josu to cut it upfield on that one.
Yeah, they had the double team on the outside edge, and great job by the defensive lineman of Hamilton to break the double team and force the running back up towards where the linebackers were waiting for him.
All right, Justin Swedish in at quarterback. Cody Olsen started the game, and Swedish coming in late. Swedish trying to get around away from the tackler. He does, to the 50, to the 45, and is tackled at about the 43-yard line. Good job by Justin Swedish to get away from that one tackler who had him by the back of the shirt.
Had him back, and he just kept turning the legs, and eventually the hand broke loose, and he was able to take off and run.
So it's first down for the Wildcats. There's the snap over the head of Swedish. Swedish still has it. Finally, rather picks it up and is finally taken down way back in Edmonton territory at about the 48-yard line. And once again, as things go well for the Wildcats, all of a sudden something happens. And it's happened so many times this season.
Yeah, unfortunately, miscommunication on the timing of the snap. And again, using a situation like that where time's running down, you're trying to take advantage of the clock and use everything you can and get the ball off quickly without running that timeout. In that case, center probably thought it was coming on sound. And when you talk about coming on sound, basically the first thing that something is said by the quarterback, ball's supposed to be snapped. Again, you're saving time. And in that case, he may have been under that impression where the quarterback may have been talking to somebody else. Ball came up early, unfortunately, and took them out of any chance of getting a field goal.
All right, let's go downstairs, and Kevin Donnan has Coach Darcy Park with him.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave, and I am with Darcy Park, head coach of the Edmonton Huskies. First half, momentum's been swinging back and forth, but you got to limit the penalties and limit the mistakes.
Yeah, I think both sides. A pick in the end zone, and yeah, the penalties are killing us again. At the end, we have them stopped, and there's lots of plays to be made again. We just have to hold their composure.
And they're really throwing a lot of the different looks at you. A lot of no back, empty backfield, 6 receiver sets. What are you going to have to do in that second half to in terms of coverage? What do you have to do?
Yeah, that's just communication. They're running a lot of the over-unders and crossing routes, and that's the two linebackers have to understand that when something crosses their face, there's something coming back, and they can't follow. They just got to, again, communicate and wait for that guy to come back in, and they're going to have a chance to make a play.
Now, the old saying is pressure makes diamonds or burst pipes. So your team's in a good one here, and you're going to find out a lot about your ball club in the second half.
Absolutely. I mean, this is exciting. Again, it's a team we've never played against, so everything's happening really fast. They got a lot of athletic people. You got to go in and make adjustments, and we'll come out flying in the second half.
Sounds great. Good luck in the rest of the way, Coach. And let's send things back upstairs to Dave Rozak and Rob Harrod, guys.
Kevin Donnan, thank you very much, and thanks to Coach Darcy Hayes and Darcy Hayes, Jason Park and Darcy Hayes. No, Darcy Park, and he does make a good point. It's been an exciting first half of football.
It has been a great, and we've seen a lot of great things. We've seen the running game on both sides of the ball do some damage at certain times, and then we've also seen Hamilton spread things out, 6 receivers trying to take advantage of some mismatches.
All right, just take a quick look at the statistics before we go back downstairs. But 229 yards offense for the Hamilton Hurricanes to just 152 for the Wildcats. That kind of surprises me that there's that much of a difference.
Well, they've had the momentum. We talked about that. Edmonton got a lot early, and they got a little bit of running, and Bray Josie got going a little bit early, and his numbers are up a little bit, and he needs to continue to do that. And, they're going to have to continue to feed the run game a little bit. They've got a great athlete at running back, and they've got to use him.
All right, let's go back downstairs. As promised, here's Kevin Donnan.
Welcome back to halftime of this ICU video broadcast of the Prairie Football Conference here at Clarke Park in downtown Edmonton. Want to thank you for joining us. The score at the half, the Hamilton Hurricanes 22, the Edmonton Wildcats 13, and I'm very pleased to be joined by Mike Samuel, the GM of the Hamilton Hurricanes. First of all, welcome to Edmonton, and as Dave Rozak, our play-by-play guy, was saying, this is a nice break weather-wise for you, isn't it?
Absolutely. We left to tropical conditions here back home. It's about 39 with the humidex, so this is definitely more conducive for football weather for us.
I was going to say not quite 39 here. Now, what does this mean in terms of getting the team together? You're in the battle for a playoff spot, but to get out on the road, it must mean a lot to your football team.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for our players. Obviously, when the opportunity was presented to us by the CJFL, we naturally latched onto it. It's a great opportunity for some of our players. A lot of our players don't get the opportunity to travel like this. We're traveling a lot within Ontario. Get to see another part of the country. Had some time for the guys to go out and explore a little bit, and see a different team. A little bit more competition helps us out.
And a big thrill being over a Commonwealth as well, having a practice in there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Nick Pelche, who was our media intern 2011, worked his way up, and he's with the Eskimos now. Nick set everything up for us. Guys had a great day yesterday doing the walkthrough tour of the facilities, and it was fantastic.
And one final thing, give us a sense of what it's like for you in terms of the competition out there. There's, you've got all the universities, you've got 12 universities, colleges, and other junior football programs. Yeah. Give us a sense, and our viewers a sense of how competitive it is out there in Ontario with the OFC.
Well, I can tell you, within about an hour's drive from Hamilton, you've got 4 CJFL choices, you've got 7 universities. That's 11 programs competing for players. So it's a tough go. We try and get as many talented guys as we can, but some of the guys think the only road to the pros is through university, and obviously they have the draft, and that helps them out. But there's a lot of guys that have played for us over the years. The last few years, John Rush is now with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, as is Matt Coates, and it's a longer route, but guys can still make it to the pros, and we just keep trucking along, trying to get the guys out there.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming out west, and safe travels back to Hamilton, and we won't wish you too much luck in the second half, but good luck the rest of the way. Thank you very much. That is my halftime guest, Mike Samuel, and want to thank him. And we want to throw things back upstairs for a special ICU video presentation, a special tribute video to the 1977 Wildcats national title team and Coach Laz. Guys, take it away.
Ethic, attitude about winning. Our motto was total commitment to excellence, and he lived it every day.
Jim just exuded confidence, that quiet demeanor, that we've heard so often, and probably the epitome of the word class.
Jim came to us in '79, and his record from the Wildcats was really, that's the guy we wanted. It was really interesting at our first coaching staff meeting. I'm the X and O guy. I'm trying to get, okay, we're going to run off tackles, and Laz said, hold it. Let's find out what our philosophy is, and that kind of tells you a lot about the Laz.
You'll never find a coach better prepared for every practice, every game. Every play. We were one confident group.
I don't think I ever heard Jim yell, and which is an amazing thing. Again, just class.
The way he operated and the way he handled the kids, it was beautiful to watch.
The first year that Laz was there on our team, I had played the previous year, and Laz's first year on the team, the Wildcats were 0-8. We didn't win a single game, but his coaching technique and focus was like an island in the middle of a team that was going nowhere.
We called him the professor. Jim was very methodical and thoughtful in all the things he did, and demeaning anyone was not part of the equation.
Well, my best memories are with Coach Laz. There's something about Coach Laz. You've probably heard from many people about him. You can't define him. It's hard to put in words. You have so much respect for the man. He's just one of the best people ever come across. Like you heard the other athletes talk about him, and he never wanted to disappoint them.
What Jim had done through the years leading up to '77, and my years obviously led into that, was just methodical, very well coached fundamentals.
My first year as a Wildcat was the first year of Coach Laz as a head coach. And so I didn't know anything different. So that standard that he brought to the team was what I thought was the way it was. So I was really fortunate to have such a outstanding mentor. He was such a great example. He showed up at all our team events. He always said the right things. He was just a great example to us all.
He wasn't a screamer. He wasn't a yeller. Very disciplined. You could tell he's a very disciplined player when he played, the same way as a coach. And you just never wanted ever to let him down. He was just something different. I've coached for a lot of years, and you try to emulate him. You do best you can, but there's only one Coach Laz.
Jim was about doing things correctly. There was nothing boastful. There were the braggarts. It got where there was some big scores against other teams, but that was never in the part of that equation. And Jim just put together a team that really cared about each other.
The difference between some of the older teams, who are, I can say, talent-wise, maybe had a little bit more talent than we did, but the difference was Coach Laz. There's, like I said, what he brought to the team, the respect, and the biggest thing is discipline. And he wasn't what you call a disciplinarian, where you if you did something wrong, you'd run until you drop type thing. It's just a respect you had for him. You just didn't fool around.
And when he took over in 1976, he took us to the next level. And I'm so thankful for that situation with him. It was just a magical time.
It's all about Jim Lazeric. Coach Laz, they used to call him back in the day when he was the coach of the 1977 national champion Edmonton Wildcats, the day they beat the Hamilton Hurricanes by a score of 28-0. And I had a chance to be at that ceremony in Sherwood Park back on August 30th, and what a great pleasure it was to see Coach Laz and to see the players, the way they honored him, not just as a coach, but as a great individual. And I think that was the theme of the whole night. What a great individual Jim Lazeric was and is.
Well, and those celebrations are great, and it's great when it's in the coaching arena. I mean, it happens in lots of different arenas, but obviously he's had an impact on many people, and I think that's what coaching really is about. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is the football. You do want to win games. You want to have kids experience that as a coach. But again, I know for me, and as I continually get older and see a lot more football games and coach a lot more kids, you got to remember, not most guys aren't winning. Yeah. I mean, they're not winning their last game of the year, and so, the ability for us to mentor kids, and Coach Laz did a lot of that with mentoring the young guys, and it's how you really create those legacies. It's not through the wins and losses, and yeah, he had some great wins, and was a great coach, but to see him, just the impact he has on the lives of so many is fabulous.
No question about that. And talking about impact, the impact of Jake Marquette is pretty obvious in this football game. He's one of the great passers, but we'll talk more about that right now. We're going to go downstairs, and once again, here's Kevin.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. I am here with Jason Hayes, the head coach of the Hurricanes. First of all, welcome to Edmonton. You're still in shorts. The rest of us are bundled up. It must be that hot Ontario weather.
Yeah, we're having a nice heat wave back home. Lots of swimming, but I wear shorts year-round, so it's no big deal.
No big deal. Well, what is a big deal is finishing this second half. You were able to, the empty backfield, you were able to spread the ball around really, really well. What did you tell your team at the half?
We just want to be a little bit smarter. We took a lot of penalties that put us, took some points off the board, and then just trying to find that last bit of adrenaline to kick in, because with 40 men here, and we don't want to be sloppy, missing tackles and stuff like that, especially on special teams when it's a big play. So.
And in terms of the big play, it's limiting the Wildcats' big play in the second half.
Yeah, they've got some weapons. 3 and 83 have had some damage against us, so we've got to make sure that we're on top of that and just kind of sustain the ball when we have it. So.
Sounds good. Good luck the rest of the way. Thank you very much. That is head coach Jason Hayes of the Hamilton Hurricanes, and he's got a lead going into this second half, but stay right where you are, right here with ICU Video in this broadcast of Week 7 here in the 2017 Prairie Football Conference. Let's send things back upstairs for the second half with Dave Rozak and Rob Harrod. Guys, I still have that feeling. I still believe.
All right, believe you all you want, Kevin. There's still a good chance. There's no question about that. But they've got to limit the passing of Jake Marquette, as we mentioned before we went downstairs. 166 yards in passing in that first half.
Well, and again, some of that came on some big plays, and some of them on some short passes that with a lot of yak yards. When we talk about yak yards, it's yards after the catch, and so the running backs are doing some damage inside, taking advantage of the linebackers. And you heard Coach Darcy Park talk about how those linebackers have to be responsible for that inside area, and so hopefully they can take care of that in the second half.
One thing that impresses me after watching the Wildcats for a number of games this season, the running game has improved considerably in this contest as it has been as opposed to the earlier in the season.
Yeah, I think, and it's twofold. It's running backs as well as the quarterback taking off, not being afraid to run. And the other thing I noticed about the stat sheet is that the Wildcats are very balanced, almost exactly run pass with regards to yards. Now, the passes have not been numerous, but when they have thrown the ball, they've thrown downfield, they've taken big chunks of yards. And so, again, I think they need to have a balance even within the passing game. Yes, stretch the field, and now that they've beat them deep a few times on jump balls, take care of some of the intermediate stuff and don't go away from any of it. And this is probably the most balanced we've seen from Edmonton, and really Hamilton's doing the exact same thing. They're going to the run, they're spreading things out, using their personnel package, which they've really prepared well for this team, and they're attacking Edmonton where they feel they can take advantage of them.
So James Barnsley will be doing the kickoff honors for the Edmonton Wildcats. He calls the huddle before the kickoff. Might see a play on in this one. 22-13 is the score in favor of the Hamilton Hurricanes. Play is whistled in. Barnsley gets a good one away up to about the 20-yard line. Taken at that point by number 21, Giovanni Ellis, and Ellis is stopped after a run back of close to 18 yards or so.
Yeah, nice little run back again. Average, good field position for Hamilton, and good job of the cover team containing it and not giving up too much.
They mark the ball at about the 39-yard line. So from there, the Hamilton Hurricanes take things over, leading by a 22-13 score.
And onus is back on the defense. See if they can come out, start the first half well, get their offense back on the field shortly.
Again, 6 receivers out, nobody in the backfield. Marquette quickly out on the far side. It is incomplete and intended once again for Giovanni Ellis.
They've gone back to that swing pass or that screen pass with 3 guys out there. Again, the idea is to take advantage of maybe a zone drop and a couple guys playing off the line of scrimmage. Edmonton did a great job, number 30 out there, just busting up the wide receiver, getting into the backfield. Again, there to make the play, but twice now we've seen drop balls on that screen pass. So they're having a little bit of a tough time delivering it to the spot they want to give the receiver a chance to catch it and get upfield.
Josh Kober has probably been the busiest of all the DBs out there in tonight's game. He's been all over the field. Now back in the pocket again, Marquette. Marquette fires into the middle, almost picked off. And guess who was out there? Josh Kober. And that ball actually went in between Kober and number 2, Tony Savchuk. Either one of them had a shot at it.
Yeah, we're really talking about that safety play last week, and he got over there, had a chance to make a play. It was, again, just out of the reach of both of the defenders, but defense has accomplished what they wanted to, forced them in second and long, and then they forced it downfield, couldn't complete the pass, and now they're going to have an opportunity to get their offense possibly back on the field in decent field position.
All right, here's the kick. It's going to be a short one. End over end. It comes out at the Wildcats bench and just over the 50-yard line. So good field position for the Edmonton Wildcats as they take the football over for the first time in this second half.
Yeah, still, again, that's 2 punts now. The last 2 punts I think we've seen by Hamilton haven't been great punts, so not sure if it's the pressure coming, not sure what's going on, but it seems like the snap got there. It took a little bit of time for the kicker to actually get, looks like the right grip on the ball and then release it. So pressure coming, forcing maybe a kick a little bit quicker than he wanted.
At quarterback, Justin Swedish, play action, rolling to his left, gets the pass away and is hit just as he gets it away, and he is down on the field and is injured.
Yeah, and he took a shot. He stood in there knowing he was going to get hit, took a real big shot by the edge player there, stepping into it, and got the full weight of the Hamilton defender right through his chest.
And probably got the wind knocked out of him more than anything else, but Swedish was injured again last week as well, and at that time they did a concussion protocol on him, and it looked like he was all right, but they didn't want to take any chances. He also injured his jaw in that same tackle, so he missed the rest of that football game, and that's when Cody Olson came in to replace him for the rest of the fourth quarter.
Well, fortunately for the Wildcats, they do have a couple quarterbacks that have taken quite a bit of snaps, and so they're going to have another quarterback stepping in. Again, a little bit of an adjustment that Hamilton has made, looking at that run game and that play action game. What they're doing now, and that player that came in was actually the linebacker. And so what they're doing is they're giving the green light to the defensive end to get up and close things down. And then the linebacker is the one scraping off. That's going to take care of the quarterback. So we'll see if that halftime adjustment changes how Edmonton's going to run their offense.
All right, Cody Olson is back in at quarterback. Swedish coming off the field under his own steam, and he'll probably just take a couple of deep breaths and a couple of plays and be back out there. Right now, Olson is the quarterback. Twin setbacks. There's the handoff to Josu. Josu has some room. He's at the 50. Gets around one tackler to the 40. Still going along the sidelines and is taken out of bounds just over the 25-yard line. And that was all Bray Josu and a couple of great blocks along that offensive line.
Well, and we've been waiting for that again for quite a while to see him break those ones loose. Again, made a guy miss in the backfield, and then he is so fast in getting to the edge, burning down the sideline. You can see in that replay just getting lots of yards, chewing up the field in a hurry, and that's what Edmonton needs to set up all sorts of things in their offense.
All right, Josu takes a bit of a break, and we have twin eye, and the second man through. The handoff taken there by number 23. Or make that 13 for the Wildcats, Kieran Bell.
Yeah, and you can see big runs. You know, it just stimulates the offense. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody's excited, and that's what they need more of. Is they need more of those big plays, excitement plays, and then you can just carry that momentum.
Gain of about we'll call it 6, so it'll be 2nd and 4. Ball on the 17-yard line. Out of the shotgun once again, Cody Olson. There's the handoff straight up the right side, taken nicely by the Wildcats, and a couple of huge hits and some flags as well. And we'll see who this goes against, but I'll tell you what, there were a couple of pretty big hits there tonight.
And I think it's going to go against Edmonton. I think he's finishing a block. Unfortunately, it was a little bit late after the play had ended. So they should gain the first down here, and then they're going to march it back. And so they're going to have still hopefully 1st and 10 for Edmonton's sake. But again, play came a little bit late.
Unnecessary roughness. Edmonton number 69. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Mike Ray with the UR. And again, the penalties, as Coach Darcy Park was saying between halves, the penalties have been kicking them.
You know, these guys are really just going to have to, they're going to have to funnel that emotion in between the whistles, and you preach that a lot to the kids.
All right, Josu is back in the game. And we have a mix-up in the backfield. Olson takes off with it, fires the football over the outstretched arms of the intended receiver, Kieran Bell. But I think Josu went one side and Olsen went the other side.
Yeah, a little miscommunication, but you know what? We're seeing a young quarterback developing and growing. You know, he knew he wasn't going to get to the edge. I don't think he even intended on completing that pass. He knew, hey, I don't want to give up a loss, put it in second and more than 10. Let's keep it second and 10. I'll throw this ball out of bounds and have a chance to move the sticks here.
Kept us cool. All right, motion goes to the right. Pulls it away. Rolls out. Takes off with it and is stopped short of the line of scrimmage. And he was hit in the chest, but gets up under his own steam, and they'll take a loss. And once again, the Wildcats will be forced to resort to the field goal.
Well, again, young quarterback getting to the outside edge. Good fundamental tackle. A little bit of extracurricular with the hand to the face. I don't know if you're going to see it in this replay here, but as he goes down to the field, you can see he gets a little bit of hand on his face mask. Again, that emotion's coming out in the players on both sides of the ball.
35-yard field goal attempt by Tanner Holt. He's got the length, and it is going to go to the right. No, it's through the goal post.
Just
Wow.
through. I don't think that almost landed right on the official who was standing underneath the upright, and I don't think the returner thought it was going to go through, but it had just enough lag.
I think that the returner was all set to pick it up and take off with it, and until he saw the hands go up.
And you can see here on the replay just getting over the posts. Great job for Edmonton coming away with points. It was really important that they did get some points early on. Again, now back onto the defense. And again, let's see if Hamilton starts to run the ball. They've got their heavy man in there, and he's playing left tackle as he was before. We'll see if they use that or if they are pleasant, or are they just happy to spread things out and go 6 receivers.
6 receivers downfield, back in the pocket. Marquette looks into the middle, fires complete at the 45-yard line, and taken there by number 86, Austin Zellick. And Zellick with his first catch of the football game.
Again, taking 6 receivers, spread things out, trying to find the area in the zone, and he just snuck in between the 2 linebackers. Again, once again, taking advantage of the middle of the field with the passing game.
All right, ball is on the 54-yard line in Wildcat territory. And again, you have those 6 receivers headed downfield. There's the pass. It is incomplete. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver down there. I believe that was number 21, Giovanni Ellis. And that's a couple of times now that we've seen Ellis drop that football.
Yeah, we've seen that a bit. And again, we're talking back to the quick game. So a couple quick steps and deliver it on time. And again, when all your receivers sit short, your DBs typically aren't dropping off. If there's any delay in the catch, bobbled pass, anything like that, it's giving that DBs a chance to come and break on the ball and make a play.
And, of course, the Wildcats going with that 3 defense. And that's giving Marquette just enough time to get the football away. Back in the pocket. Marquette takes off with it now over the center field stripe and loses the football. It is recovered by the Wildcats.
Well, interesting, because I think there was some confusion on the Hamilton side. I think they actually were short 1 player. Usually they go with the 6 receiver set. They only had 5, and I didn't spot a tight end in there. And there was a guy kind of ran off the field late, so a little bit of confusion. Again, extra man on the field possibly for Edmonton. And again, quarterback pulls it down, takes off to go. Great defensive play by Edmonton, getting that ball out and then jumping on it to take possession.
Great job by Jaden Dalkey to come up with that football, and it gives the Wildcats a first down in Hamilton territory at the 51-yard line. 9:42 to go in the third quarter. There's the fake, and Olsen loses the football and then fires it into the ground, and it's going to be, well, there's a flag on the play. I'm not sure whether it's going to be roughing the passer or just grounding the football.
Well, I think it was grounding, but it's going to be interesting to see because I think there was a running back in the mix of all those players. I think Josie had kind of run back. I think he had an idea the ball was on the ground, so he ran back. So may or may not be a penalty. We'll see what the officials decide and how close he was to the ball when it was thrown into the ground.
There's no infraction on the play as there was 3 receivers in the area. That's an incomplete pass. Second down.
Well, we talk about a young quarterback making some decisions that have really helped him. Again, second play on 2 different drives that he's eliminated. A second and long. This one would have been second and probably 25. Now they've got a chance back in Hamilton territory to try to convert this 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10, the ball on the 51-yard line. Cody Olsen staying in at quarterback. Motion goes left, There's the handoff to Josu. Josu bounces off one tackler, bounces off another, and then takes off to the left side and is finally taken down after a gain of about maybe 5 yards or so. But I'll tell you what, this is the best I've seen Bray Josu since early last season. He is really running with authority out there.
Yeah, it's great to see the momentum in the run game continue. And again, Edmonton's recognized that. They've recognized he's fired up, he's going, he's having a great game. Let's continue to go back to him. Let's use our athletes. Let's put them in a position to succeed.
This is third down, and the kick taken by Zeroni, a good one, down to about the 20-yard line. The ball comes loose, and Hamilton recovers.
I think we're also going to have a 15 yards, no yards, because the guy initially there in on the tackle, I think he was a little bit closer than 5 yards. And so, again, that's going to be another play that's going to help Hamilton move out of the shadows of their goalpost and improve their field position.
It's 8:54 to go in this third quarter.
15. Correction, number 7, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that moves the ball all the way up to the 35-yard line.
And again, tough position to be in. You're a cover guy. You're trying to get downfield as quickly as you can, and it's about timing, and you really don't have an eye on the ball, and so you're kind of reading the returner, and you're thinking, okay, if I can time this right, again, just a couple steps inside, helping Hamilton get up to their 35.
Again, 6 receivers out. There's the handoff to the lone setback, and that is Adeniran. And Adeniran will run it ahead for a gain of about maybe 8 yards, perhaps 7. And it'll be second down.
And you can see what they've done here for Edmonton's defense. In order to counter the 6 receiver set, they've actually brought an extra DB on the field. And I'm not sure how much we saw in the first half, but in that case, you saw Tony Sawchuk in on the tackle. But he's kind of playing that tweener position where if they need a little bit of a tackler, they've got him there to help with the run game. But he's also able to cover a little bit better than some of the bigger linebackers.
Again, the handoff to Adeniran. Adeniran finds a hole on the right side and carries the football over the 50-yard line, a gain of about 11 yards or so, and it'll be a first down for the Hamilton Hurricanes. Ball still in their territory at the 50-yard line. One thing about the defensive backfield of this Wildcats team, they're interchangeable, and we saw that last week where Dalkey and Sabchuk were exchanging positions on at the free safety.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing that personnel matchup, and it's a good little chess match of who's on the field, who's not, and what kind of defenses and offenses you can run.
All right, play action pass down along the sidelines. The pass is incomplete. All the way down to about the 30-yard line, and a great job of defending down there.
We got Isaiah Brown, and again, that's about textbook defense right there. You can see he's kind of step for step. He's in his back pedal. He turns and runs, and again, timing of this play on the ball was perfect for him. Waited for it to come down, got his hand on the ball before the receiver had a chance to get 2 hands on the ball and bring it in.
2nd and 10, ball on the 50. 7:13 to go in the third quarter. Hamilton leading this one by a score of 22-16. There's the little bit of a Statue of Liberty play. Adeniran takes off with the football to the 30, the 25, still going and taken down at the 15-yard line. David Adeniran, and I guess the only word I can express is Statue of Liberty. It looked like Marquette kind of just held the ball up and then...
It was kind of, again, Statue of Liberty, a little bit of a draw play, trying to give the pass look, give the eyes, the defenders are seeing, okay, the quarterback's got the ball, rises up to draw them in, and again, that gives the blockers a chance to set up their blocks for the little bit of a draw play, and then it was pure speed going down the field. And again, once again, that run game for Hamilton is really taking its toll on Edmonton. Now that they've made that personnel switch and they've got a little bit of a smaller backfield with Tony in there, they're going to have to stop that run.
Back in the pocket, pass complete at the 5-yard line and out of bounds. On this side is number 83, Mackenzie Satter.
So in a position of, from defensive standpoint, you've got 6 receivers on the offense, you've got the extra DB on the defense. Now you're trying to find the holes in the zone. And so in that case, they played a cover 2 zone. And when you play cover 2 zone, you've got 2 deep guys. So if you flood this shallow zone, you're typically going to find someone open. And Hamilton did a great job executing just the underneath, taking what they were giving them and putting them in a great position here down on the 2-yard line.
And it's 1st and 10 on the 2, or 1st and goal on the 2, with 5:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Looking into the end zone, pass, complete, touchdown. Number 23, Emmett Putt, with that 2-yard pass from Jake Marquette. And the Hamilton Hurricanes increase their lead 28-16.
So they've gone back to that same type of play, and who that is that's typically, again, he's played receiver a lot of the night. He's played a little bit of fullback, more of a fullback type of guy, maybe not as big as some traditional fullbacks, but he comes in and helps block off the edge. And in that case, he's set up on the right side, looking like they were going to run, and he's the guy who leaked out, again, behind the line of scrimmage, gets a little bit downfield and just out into the flat. We've seen them go to him a few times.
When you're using this kind of offense, well, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but now they're going for the 2-pointer into the end zone, and it is picked off.
We also have a flag at the back of the end zone, and again, not for sure, but often that is a pass interference call if it's in the secondary.
The point after team signaling to the bench to stay away. They get another shot at it. 28-16 in favor of the Hamilton Hurricanes, and going for the 2-point conversion. Referees are talking things over. Let's hear from Alex Matuzas.
Illegal contact, number 2 on the defense. That'll be half the distance of the goal line. Repeat convert.
Another one of those illegal contact penalties against the Wildcats. So they'll repeat this, and again, they'll be going for the, well, we assume they'll be going for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, Edmonton keeps putting themselves in a position where giving Hamilton more opportunity to put extra points on the board. They're going to have to eliminate that, and when they can make a stop and make the stop, they just keep giving them second chance after second chance.
There's the pass. It is incomplete. And again, another flag, and it looks like it's going to be another pass interference call.
Well, not sure that one was quite as obvious as the first one. The good news is it's only going to be 1.25 yards. If they went half the distance last time and go half the distance this time, the penalties are getting shorter.
There was a bit of a mix-up along the goal line there, which may have been the call that was made. One of the officials talking with one of the Wildcats DBs. And again, let's hear from Alex Matuzas, see what the call is.
Defensive pass interference, number 21. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. Repeat convert.
Well, I thought it would be the 1.25-yard line based on half and half, but...
And the next time, well, they can't go to the half-yard line.
Well, it stays right there. So now's when you want to take the pass interference if it's going to be a completion.
All right, over center, the handoff now. Unstopped at the goal line on a great tackle coming up from his middle linebacker position was number 44 for the Edmonton Wildcats, Ben Davidge, and he just stuffed the ball carrier.
And what a great play, what a great read to stuff that hole right at the point on the goal line there.
Offside is going to be the call. And so, this is attempt number 4? And they can't move it to the half-yard line. We know that.
No, they're staying where they are.
What a great play, though, by Ben Davidge.
Edmonton, number 24. 5-yard penalty to be applied on the kickoff. Repeat convert from the 1-yard line.
Well, and those are frustrating penalties, especially on a stop like that. You mean you've got the big white stripe that you know you need to stay behind. It should be a fairly easy lineup for the defense. Again, relying on them to make another big play here.
All right, once again, handoff, and it is Adeniran on the right side in for the 2-point conversion. And with 5:50 to go, we finally get the convert, with the score being 30-16 in favor of the Hamilton Hurricanes over the Edmonton Wildcats, and I can see why they went for that that two-pointer. Now it's a 14-point two-score game.
Yeah, and for the viewers online, you can see why are they all of a sudden going for 2. 1, get more offensive reps, because I think they had, 3 or 4 tries at that one. But 2, I think trying to extend that lead, assuming, you look ahead in a game and say, okay, when do you make the decision to go for 2? Well, they obviously felt like, hey, they have a good chance to go up by 14 instead of either 13 or obviously 12 if they don't succeed at all. And that was the decision they decided to make. And obviously it turned out after 3 or 4 attempts, they finally got their 2 points. And now if for whatever reason they give up a couple touchdowns, they're still in a position to be tied and possibly win the game with any kind of points over top of that.
And down at the bench, I see Colton Hippie is warming up, and we will likely see him at quarterback in this next series. The kickoff taken at the 10-yard line by Lucas Howe, cuts across field. Looks like he might have some room over there, but then is taken down from behind. And again, another flag. And this one is turning into a flag fest.
Yeah, you know what? It's unfortunate. It's kind of unraveled a little bit in the second half, and the penalties have just aided Hamilton in every way by Edmonton, and Hamilton's, taken full advantage. Again, a lot of those things are real hustle plays, especially on special teams. If you're on a cover team, you can see there it's holding. If you're on a cover team and you're hustling downfield, you never give up. That's forcing Edmonton into a position where maybe they'll take a penalty.
Edmonton on the play. Back 10 yards, first down.
Well, it started out as a beautiful evening for football here at Clarke Park, but the wind has picked up out of the southwest and has turned things considerably cooler than what they were at the beginning of this game. That's Colton Hippie at quarterback, and Hippie is forced to take off with it, or make that Justin Swedish, I guess. Number 9, he is in there. I saw Colton Hippie warming up on the bench, but Coach Darcy Parker decided to go back to Justin Swedish. And with that, he loses a couple yards. It'll be second and about 12.
Well, good news that he's back in the game and he's healthy, and that injury didn't take him out for any longer. But again, we talked about that swing pass. We saw it last week with Swedish going to the swing pass a number of times. This time it was covered so early they forced him to take off and run, and lost some yards on that play.
All right, motion to this side. Swedish into the middle. Pass complete to Lucas Howe, and he's down at the 40, make that the 39-yard, the 41-yard line. And up for the first down.
So great job by Swedish delivering the ball quick and early before the free safety had a chance to make a play on the ball. Simple seam route, gets inside the linebacker and hits that window.
And I've been kind of waiting for that particular type of pass, straight up the middle. I mean, it's been very successful for the Hurricanes, and really the Wildcats haven't gone to it that much.
Well, and a lot comes down to timing, too. Again, you want to get it out of the quarterback's hands before pressure is created. But the other thing is, with a safety over top, you want to make sure that the ball is delivered with time for your receiver to catch the ball and actually make a move. Otherwise, it could be an injury waiting to happen up the middle.
Looks like we've got a cramp down there on the field. One of the Hamilton players. Can't catch his number for you. It looks like it might be number 50, Adam Mazer.
Not to rub it into the Albertans out here, but he may still be dehydrated from that 30-plus weather they've enjoyed this last week while we've been fighting the snow earlier in the week and the rain throughout the rest of the week. That was a scary day to see the snow collect on the ground earlier this week here in Edmonton.
You saying that the Eastern football players are a little softer?
Well, I'm saying they just enjoyed the heat out there for so long. They're not used to the cold weather. And so the interesting thing about the cold weather is you're not typically drawn to drink a lot of water as a football player because you're cool and you don't feel the heat. When you're in the heat, you're always drinking water, and it becomes a huge priority. Again, when you get to the cold, you're not drawn to that. And so sometimes that can create cramps coming and some dehydration setting in for some of these players.
So they'll mark the ball, as mentioned, at the 40-yard line. We've got 4:40 to go. And getting up and off under his own steam is Mazer. First and 10, Wildcats. Ball on the 40-yard line. And I think we are finally ready to get play underway. This is Swedish, and again into the middle, man wide open at the 45-yard line and down to the 35. Great pass, great job by Lucas Howe as he was able to, well, there was a big seam in there and he was able to find it.
Well, sending a couple guys downfield, and hopefully we get a replay here. You can see that they've done a great job of spreading the field out. They've got a guy coming across the middle and a couple seams. And you can see the free safety react to the first guy who's bending it a little bit more across the field, leaving that outside seam open, and again, delivered on time right before the shot on the quarterback. Great timing and great play design.
A ball on the 37-yard line. First down for the Wildcats in Hamilton territory. Colton Hippie now the quarterback, and Hippie fires one out to the sidelines. It is complete out there to number 88, Zach Burgess. And he'll pick up a gain of about maybe 6 yards on the play.
I think flashing those numbers, you're still seeing Swedish out there.
Oh, it is. It's number 9.
But they look almost identical now. They've got their white sleeves on, and you can't tell the difference. But again, continuing to move the ball, continuing to use his legs to buy time, and that time, great job, eyes downfield, finding the receiver for a few yards.
Swedish looks very sharp here tonight. He's getting the ball away quickly. There's another pass into the middle, and it is complete. This time taken by Brandon Rebnord, and Rebnord makes enough for the first down, a pickup of close to 16 yards on the play. And all of a sudden, that pass in the middle just seems to be opening up for the Wildcats.
Well, and again, you're seeing that same swing pass, but this time they're not feeding the swing pass every time. They're taking that second step and saying, okay, if you're going to move a linebacker out of the middle of the field, we are coming right back after it, and we're going to complete some passes, which you've seen on this drive be very successful.
All right, 4 receivers downfield, and taking off with it is Swedish once again to the 10. And he turns around, gets away from one tackler at the 5, and is finally tackled at about the 3-yard line. What a great job of running by Justin Swedish.
A lot of determination there to just churn out the yards. Again, made a good read, got upfield, saw he wasn't going to get to the first down, and outwitted him and spun back inside, likely getting a first down or at least second and really, really short, which is a great position to be in, because really now you're looking at 4 opportunities here to get into the end zone if they did not get the first down on that run, which it looks like we're going to get a measurement.
Lucas Howe is coming off, limping a little bit, but he should be okay. Cody Olson is back out there.
So Coach Darcy Park using all the quarterbacks at different times and just finding a way, what's the best person to have in there?
Well, you get the feeling that maybe Olson has the better legs than Swedish. And he is quick to run with the football. There's no question about that.
He definitely can be a little bit more creative, and I was talking to some coaches about the difference between the quarterbacks. They all have their strengths, and the young guy, you know what, when things aren't going well, he's going to take off maybe a little bit more athletic than the 2 older quarterbacks, and so good skill set to have down here in the red zone.
First and goal on the 4-yard line, and a mix-up in the backfield once again. Olson gets away from the tackler, and he throws it into the end zone, almost intercepted. There was not any blue shirt anywhere near that football.
No, it looked like there was a couple of O-linemen / tight end near the football, and again, not sure if they report as eligible or ineligible, but that can create problems. Both those guys are actually down there blocking. So heads-up play actually by the inside lineman. You can see there he kind of ducked away from the ball. That's exactly what you need to do, because if he gets his hands on the ball, it's an illegal receiver downfield, penalty on Edmonton. So real heads-up play by the O-lineman to make sure he didn't get in there.
On the defense, number 58, half the distance to the goal line, repeat first down.
Well, there's a break, half the distance to the goal line.
Well, not a lot of yards, but some critical yards, just inching them in, and a repeat of the down, so they get another shot here before. Looks like their first down and
2nd and 2.
2nd and 2. Here we go.
Justin Swedish now back in at quarterback. And there's Bray Josu in for the touchdown.
Great execution up front by the offensive lineman. Of course, Bray Josu is going to be excited. He's had a great night, maybe the best in a year at least. And you know what? Good job, offensive line. And again, when you can establish a run game, which Ken Gash, that just gives the offensive line confidence. And you can see there they got a great push and really untouched into the end zone from the 2.
And so with 2:22 to go, it's a 30-22 football game. Point after coming from Tanner Holt Offside is going to be called against against the Hamilton Hurricanes, and the convert is good. And we will have that, I assume, applied to the kickoff. And the Hamilton Hurricanes still lead this one by a score of 30-22.
Number 17, 5 yards to be applied on the kickoff. The convert is good.
All right, the 5-yard penalty will be applied to the kickoff. So there you go. You get a good drive going. It starts in your own zone. You get it into the opponent's zone and drive for the touchdown and do it, quite easily, really.
Yeah, you know what? They didn't have any penalties that cost them.
Yeah.
You saw the quarterbacks make a couple of decisions to not put them in second and really long, and they had a great opportunity to attack the middle of the field. So again, they've thrown the swing pass a couple of times. They saw the defense adjust to that, and now they've attacked back in the middle of the field. So you're really seeing kind of a little bit of a systems chess match going on here with the two coordinators.
So Bray Josu has had just an outstanding game at running back. Now, why is he being so successful tonight as opposed to so many times earlier this season?
Well, and again, we talked about the size of the Hamilton defense, but seems that their gaps are being created and there's space for the running backs. And again, we've talked about it in the past. If we can get him past the first level, he's very dangerous in the open field, and the linebackers are having a hard time tracking him down. And I think that's resulting from his success, because it's not, I don't think his carry numbers are really, really high, but when he's getting it, he's being super effective. And Edmonton's doing a great job of having that balanced attack, going to the run, going to the pass, kind of keeping Hamilton's defense a little bit off balance, which is really what we're seeing Hamilton do to the Edmonton defense as well.
And the one thing that he's doing very well, and he's getting to the outside, and he did that early in the football game, so Hamilton obviously has to be aware of that, but he's also carrying the ball well off tackle on both sides.
Well, and a lot of those outside runs end up starting inside, and so he's staying.
On the kickoff, number 33, 5-yard penalty, repeat kickoff.
So we're going to see the kickoff here again, but again, we're seeing him get inside, and so you're creating the running lane for the running back. If the linebackers don't fill early, he's obviously a great athlete and very difficult to tackle, and that's when he's bouncing it to the outside. So very disciplined to stay in the lane he's supposed to be running, and then once he gets to the secondary or the linebackers, off he goes to space because he knows he has the speed and can outrun most of those linebackers in the open field.
All right, the Hurricanes standing on their own 20-yard line, not giving James Barnsley a whole bunch of respect here.
Well, again, we haven't seen a lot of deep kicks, and so if he's not going to kick it deep, then why stand back there? And they're going to creep up here and hopefully give their offense good field position to start the drive.
Gets a good one away this time. It's down to about the 15-yard line. It'll be taken there by Giovanni Ellis. Ellis tries the middle of the field and keeps the legs moving, and I think we have a plethora of sweaters out there, and somewhere underneath that pile has got to be Giovanni Ellis. Wow.
Yeah, looking like a rugby scrum there again. But that's what you want. You want a team, a group of teams down there. Your special teams is always get 12 guys to the ball, gang tackling the running back. Again, great coverage that time. Again, the kick didn't go much past the 20-yard line. And again, they contained it to a short gain of 8 or 10 yards. And that's where Hamilton is going to have to scrimmage from.
All right, ball on the 27-yard line, 28-yard line, make that. Jake Marquette has gone all the way at quarterback. David Adeniran is the lone setback. 6 receivers downfield. There's a pass on the outside, taken neatly by number 15, Trey Ivey. And he was being well covered. I think Brady Kerr was out there and wrapped him up very quickly after a gain of only 3 yards.
Yeah, great job by the defense to just kind of be aware of that underneath stuff, and that's what they need to do. Again, Hamilton's got some very dynamic backs and very dynamic receivers. If you give him time to turn and look upfield, there's a lot of open space for him to make somebody miss. So good job of the DBs just coming up and making the play before he can make any damaging yard gains.
All right, Adeniran is the setback. There's the fake and the handoff to Adeniran, and he will pick up close to about 6 yards on the play, but I think he's going to be short of the first down.
Yeah, decision time coming for Hamilton. It's maybe not quite a yard, but it looks like they're sending the punting team out with the opportunity to try to gain some field position back, although great job by the Edmonton defense. They've done their job, and they've got the ball back in the hands of their offense.
But I think the Hurricanes are in for some very bad news. That looks like David Adeniran down there on the field He's up and coming off after his own on his own steam, so just a little gingerly on that right leg.
Yeah, they're going to want to have him to finish this game off here in the fourth quarter. Very dynamic back, very good athlete, and has great vision in the field. And we've seen him chew up some yards on the Edmonton defense, and so Hamilton's going to want to have him back in the lineup next time their offense comes out.
Rakeel kicking this one away, gets a good high punt down to about the 50-yard line, and it will bounce out of bounds right there. And they'll mark it out at the 49, so the Edmonton Wildcats with good field position with 4:17 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, lots of time left for Edmonton. There's no need to rush things, but again, that momentum, they've kind of captured that back after the score by Hamilton, and they've put the ball in the end zone. Of course, touchdowns are better than field goals in a game that's a lot of points are being scored, and now they're back on. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going after the defense forced the punt and got the ball back in their hands.
I just made a liar out of it. It was 41.7. 26 seconds to go in this third quarter. Justin Swedish is the quarterback, and he tries the middle and picks up maybe a yard or so on the play. The clock continues to run.
Again, not taking a lot of time to look downfield, so if it was a design draw, he's got to make sure those blocks are maintained, because again, if he gets through the grasp of that defensive player, there's a lot of running room. For a great job by Hamilton and their front seven to contain the quarterback and not let him spring free on a run.
All right, one last play here in the third quarter. Swedish out of the shotgun. He gets out of one tackle. Now he has some room. He takes off over center field and is knocked forward over the 50-yard line to about the 48. And again, Swedish comes up injured. He is favoring his right shoulder and staggering around as well.
Well, great individual effort by Swedish. Again, you can see the desire is there on this Edmonton defense, or the Edmonton offense, and really the team in general. Those individual efforts we're seeing really come out tonight, and that's a great job. He took a huge shot on his left shoulder and just continued to churn out. That does not look good for Swedish, though.
What worries me most is that he was staggering around out there, and he has had 2 concussions in the past couple of seasons.
Yeah,
and they want to be very careful with that.
He's been shaken up. I think fortunately for him, there wasn't a lot of contact with the head, so hopefully it's just like a little bit of a stinger. If you haven't heard the term stinger, it's often, you get a little bit of a pinched nerve or something in your shoulder where there's a little bit of numbness.
All right. At the end of the third quarter of play, it's a 30-23 football game in favor of the Hamilton Hurricanes, and we want to thank the following sponsors for all their help with the Edmonton Wildcats: dentalchoice.ca, McElhaney, JC Boiler Service Limited, the Rough Rider, Flamin Fitness, OTR Kitchen and Drink, and of course the good folks at WestJet. Let's go downstairs now, and once again, here is Kevin Donnan. We haven't heard from you in a while, Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. Well, it's getting a little cold down here. I had to, had to move around a little bit, get the blood flowing. But you know what? One thing that is going to get the fundraising flowing for the Wildcats is their annual raffle with WestJet. It's a Wildcat WestJet raffle, $10 a ticket. Make sure you check with the Wildcats, and the lucky winner will be able to fly anywhere WestJet flies in Canada. And also coming up for the Wildcats fans, make sure you circle November 17th on your calendar. That is the annual banquet coming up. Tickets go on sale next week. And of course, our next ICU video procast comes up tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, right here at Clarke Park, as the Edmonton Huskies host the Regina Thunder, and that's going to be a big one. But we've got a lot of football left here tonight, guys. Back up to you.
Got my sleeping bag up here. I'm ready to stay over. No question about that. Double I formation, or double setback formation for the Wildcats. Swedish still in at quarterback. Hand off to Josu. Josu finds a little bit of room on that right side. And, Swedish is still out there, but he's still favoring that shoulder.
He is, yeah, and again, fortunately for him, it's not his throwing shoulder. And again, if it's not losing any strength, he's still able to run the offense. And of course, he's going to want to stay out there if at all possible. And again, I like seeing Edmonton not just abandon the run game. They got lots of time left. There's no rush. They're sticking with the run game, letting Josu break down the defense, and that's going to open up some passes.
All right, everybody out. Josu in there to help block, and there's the pass. It is complete at the 40-yard line and going down to the turf to pick that one up. Nice job by number 85, Mackenzie Lawson. And Lawson making up for that mistake he made earlier in the second half.
I think the back judge saw a different view and actually called it incomplete. He came running in, so we had the side judge calling complete, and then the back judge in the secondary coming in. We'll take a look at the replay here. Couldn't quite see whether or not it came in there.
All right, Swedish is back down on one knee, and that means he's going to have to come out of the football game.
Well, again, after that shoulder injury, he did go in, ran a couple run plays, managed to get the handoff again. On the roll, he's going to torque that shoulder, and you got to really pull that elbow back as a quarterback when you're delivering the ball, especially on the run. And he probably felt something a little bit more bothering him. And so we may see another change at quarterback next time the Wildcat offense takes the field.
It's going to be 3rd down and 7. Punting team will come out. In the meantime, they are continuing to take a look at that left shoulder of Justin Swedish. He has had a number of injuries over the past couple of years. There's no question about that. Just last week, in fact, with that injured jaw and suspected concussion.
Yeah, and clearly he got cleared last week to go ahead and play, and he's been looking like he's playing fine until he took that shot on the shoulder. And so as he comes off, I know Kevin will be digging for some information for us to see how that shoulder is and what's going on, if we'll see him a little bit later tonight.
All right. Question is whether we will see him, Colton Hippie, or Cody Olson. And I see Hippie taking some snaps along beside the bench. So maybe this time he'll get in there. Matt Zeroni punting this one away from his own 52-yard line. He gets a good end-over-end kicks, and it's going to bounce all the way down to about the 5-yard line. And taking it there was number 25, or make that 23, Emmett Hutt.
Well, we may see the Wildcats offense earlier than we thought. It looks like someone hit the kicker, and so it may give them a first down. We'll see what the officials say, but definitely had the kicker run right through, and it looks like the offense is coming back out on the field. And so big break for Edmonton, really tough break for Hamilton. Again, a little bit of undisciplined play there on rushing the punt. Didn't really get too close, but he didn't avoid the punter and went right through him.
Roughing the kicker, number 68, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Ouch, that was a mountain of a man coming down on top of.
That was a big guy coming down on a punter. And again, fortunately for Edmonton, they've got a very athletic, very gifted punter. But again, great break for Edmonton, and now they've got an opportunity to continue this drive. And again, Hamilton's defense has been on the field a fair bit in the last 15 minutes here. So again, wearing them down with a little bit of mix between run and pass.
Ball on the 32-yard line. Colton Hippie at quarterback, fires into the end zone over the head of the intended receiver, and looking for an interference call was Jacob Mihalidis, and he did not get it.
Well, good to see Colton back in the game. And again, another flag in the backfield, not sure which way it's going to go. But again, that ball really needs to be delivered a little bit higher, a little bit from the outside.
All right, let's go downstairs again. Here is Kevin.
Thanks, you bet, Dave. And as you mentioned, things were quiet here on the Wildcats sideline, but business is picking up around the training table. Number 97, Wyatt Schutz, the defensive lineman, getting a right hip taken a look at. And, of course, Justin Swedish. It's not a good night for collarbones down here, Dave. They're taking a long look at that collarbone of number 9, Justin Swedish. Back up to you.
Motion goes right, looking into the end zone once again. The pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Jacob Mihalidis, And really, he had some room to run. The defender was well behind him, just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, he may have found the end zone again. We've got to, Edmonton's really got to pick those things up, and he's got to secure that catch. It was a well-delivered ball right into his hands. Again, maybe thinking a little too much about the end zone this time, and didn't secure the pass.
2nd and 10. Ball on about the 17-yard line. Colton Hippie at quarterback, 3-4 flankers to this side. There's the swing pass to Bray Josu. Josu makes a couple of moves and gets across the 15 to about the 14. He'll gain about 3 yards on the play, and that was one of those plays designed for Bray Josu just to do what he does best, and that's juke and jive.
Yeah, get an open space, and that's what you want to do with your playmakers. And again, there's another flag in the backfield, and based on Colton Hippie's assessment of it and what he heard or saw, looks like it's going in favor of Edmonton, which is going to keep this drive going. With no audio there, I can voice over, and definitely first down for Edmonton on roughing the passer call. And so again, Edmonton gets to stay on the field with their offense and continue this drive. And another change at quarterback for Edmonton. It looks like we have our red zone quarterback in there.
That would be Cody Olson. So the youngster takes over, and we've seen all 3 quarterbacks once again for the 2nd week in a row on this Wildcats football team. Cody Olson at the 1. It's 1st and goal. Wildcats. Handoff. Left side. And it's a touchdown.
For a big hoggy. Well, if you didn't see that, and again, it was hard to see in the pile of players, looks like the first contact knocked the ball loose. Then it was bouncing around, and Edmonton fought for the ball, tore it out of somebody's arms at the bottom of the pile. And some offensive lineman is going to be very excited about maybe getting his first touchdown in a while.
All right, there's the ball comes loose. We've lost it. And coming up with it is number 68. For the Edmonton Wildcats. What a night for this young man. Von Rollick out of Killam, Sedgwick High School. And he is a rookie and gets the touchdown. And it's, wow, what a great football game this is turning out to be. Hey, let's go downstairs once again. Here's Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Dave. And another injury update. And Justin Swedish has, well, all the equipment off almost. He's got the shoulder pads off, the jersey off. Dr. Adams is taking a long look, not so much at the collarbone, but right at the shoulder joint and at that sort of trapezius muscle. They're taking a long look at him, but he is definitely, there's no mobility in that non-throwing shoulder, and it looks like Justin Swedish's night is done tonight, guys. So Darcy Park has had to go right down the depth chart tonight and all over the place, but it looks like Justin Swedish is finished for this evening, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin. Really appreciate that. That's got to be tough news, but hey, the way Cody Olson has been playing, it shouldn't hurt them too much, and I see that Colton Hippie is still out there warming up. He may be back in this football game as well. And it's a tie football game, tied at 30 with 12:30 to go in this 4th quarter, and well, we expected an exciting football game, and we got what we wanted.
We have definitely got it, and this is coming down to the wire, and let's see which team can finish off. And again, both teams fighting for something big for their own side, and again, Hamilton won and go back with another win to battle it out in Ontario, and Edmonton Wildcats obviously trying to search for that first win this year.
Good kickoff, this time all the way down to the 5-yard line with a stiff breeze behind him. A good job by Tanner Holt, or make that James Barnsley, and the run back is about 25 yards or so down to around the 30-yard line, and the Hamilton Hurricanes will take over the football at their own 30.
So great timing for a nice kick. They've been kind of waiting around the 10, 15, 20-yard line. Again, with a little bit of a breeze, not much, but they definitely drove that deep, and the cover team did a good job of shedding tackles. And again, Hamilton, considering how deep that was, had a pretty good return starting from the 30-yard line.
Jake Marquette at quarterback. Lone setback is Adeniran. He's back in the football game, and there is the flag along the line of scrimmage. We're going to have probably an offside call from one of the line judges, Sharon Airy. Pass is incomplete.
Looks like it was offside on Hamilton, so Edmonton gets to make a choice either to move him back. It looks like they've declined the penalty.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Ball on the 30.
So there we go. Edmonton opting to defend 2nd and 10 rather than 1st and 15. I think they've done really well when it's been 2nd and long. And again, I think they've made the good selection here, and hopefully this defense can stop them and maybe get their offense back on the field.
All right, Adeniran, the lone setback. He gets the handoff, gets around one tackler, now over at the 40, and is taken down just over the 40-yard line. Jaden Dalkey coming up from his cornerback position to make that tackle, but he will have enough for the first down. It's a gain of close to 12 yards, so it'll be first down for the Hurricanes, the ball on the 42-yard line.
Well, first off, good to see Adeniran back in the game for the fourth quarter for Hamilton here. And again, once again, as soon as he gets back in the game, he's doing some damage. Great little draw play and good job of bouncing outside. We're having a great display of two great running backs tonight.
3 flankers to the far side, 2 on this side. And there is the swing pass on the flats to about to the 45-yard line. And again, we have another flag, and this one was well after the tackle. And a good job out there by number 23, Emmett Putt, to haul that one down. A gain of close to maybe 3 yards on the play, but we'll have to wait for the flag. And it's going against the Hamilton Hurricanes. And it's a 15-yarder.
Yeah, so again, now Hamilton looks like they're making the kind of mental mistakes that's putting their offense in a really difficult position. We've seen that a little bit on both sides of the ball, and that seems to be the direction where momentum is going. If you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, you're just handing momentum back. And so, again, the defense is favored in this 2nd and really long. Let's see what Hamilton comes out to convert this.
Marquette, quick pass on the flats, complete to number 21, Giovanni Ellis, and Ellis looks like he's going to have enough for the first down.
No, he's going to be short because they were 2nd and 20. That is the start of the 10 yards they needed to get. So again, defense playing a little bit of soft, giving something up underneath in order to get the ball back. So we'll see what the punt return team for Edmonton can do. And Hamilton obviously trying to limit the gain and give their defense a great long field to defend here with a 30-30 ball game.
Gain of 12, and it forces the punt, and it almost blocked. It'll come down at about the 40-yard line. There is definitely going to be a no yards penalty on that one, and it'll be a 15-yarder as Jaden Dalkey was taken down heavily. Dalkey had a few words to say to the tackler, and I believe it was number 51, Anthony Federico. And I'll tell you what, that was one heck of a hit, and Dalkey was good to get back up so quickly.
Well, again, very, very big body coming down with a lot of steam, and he did not break stride, and so that's going up quite a ways.
I think we've got a couple of penalties. We've got a no yards, and we've got a roughing.
Yeah, and because he doesn't let up, you can see him coming down again. The ball hangs up. He did not let up. He got both, and that's 30 yards of field. So I think Hamilton actually will put themselves in worse field position when they were punting for, and that's great for Edmonton. Again, we talked about the discipline of both these football clubs, and it's really making a difference in this fourth quarter.
Wow. The ball comes all the way down to about the 37, 38-yard line, and great field position for Colton Hippie and the Edmonton Wildcats. All the motion goes left. Hippie looks that way, fires into the middle. It is complete at the 30-yard line, and moving it ahead to about the 26-yard line on a great job of ball carrying and catching was number 80 for the Wildcats. That is Brandon Rebnord.
Yeah, great job of using his hands, securing the ball in a very, very tight window. You can see that ball delivered a little bit low, but he had to get his hands down, secured the ball, and ended up getting the first down, which was a great second effort to get a few extra yards.
Single setback is Bray Josu. Josu moves to the right. Now back in the pocket. There's the screen pass in the middle. It is complete to Lucas Howe to the 15, and he is going to be stopped right there. Good job out there by number 13, Neil Stewart, to hang on to the leg of Lucas Howe and just not let go.
Well, and again, great job of setting up the plays. They're really digging a little deeper into their offensive playbook. Things are working better tonight, and you can see we're seeing a little bit of variety from the Edmonton offense. Again, you could see Josu, he left the backfield early, drawing out guys, and again, bringing the guy underneath for the screen pass created lots of space in the middle.
Ball on the 15-yard line. It is 1st and 10, Wildcats. Hippie pulls the ball down and takes off with it, and is hit hard just over the line of scrimmage. He may have picked up a yard or two on the play, but he took a heavy shoulder. But comes up none the worse for wear.
Well, again, rolling, moving the pocket, buying himself some space and time. Again, ill timing on the run. Linebackers coming up, making a great tackle, good fundamental tackle, getting low and delivering a real solid blow to the quarterback.
Three flankers to this side, two to the far side. Josu the setback. Josu hanging in there and firing into the end zone. Touchdown! Brandon Rednord.
Well, great job of the veteran coming in. We do have a flag. I believe it's against Hamilton, so it's not going to change anything. Again, great things happen with the run game. They had a little bit of play action in the backfield. Again, moving the linebackers, holding them in, and then sliding in receivers behind them on the crossing routes proved to be effective there. And again, great job securing the ball and getting into the end zone as the Wildcats take the lead.
Bray Josu took off to the outside and did a good job actually of holding up one of the linebackers and giving Colton Hippie just that little extra second to get the football away.
Well, great backs not only can run the ball, they also can pass protect, and he's doing a good job standing in there. We can see the Edmonton quarterbacks are having more time to throw the ball tonight.
Even if he's only 5'6".
Yeah, he's a tough guy in there, and again, things are going well.
Let's go downstairs now. Again, here is Kevin.
I'll tell you, Dave, one thing I got to say, I've been down here for a season and a half and have had the pleasure of being down here on the sideline with the Wildcats, and I'll tell you, you will not find a more electric sideline right now. This team is so hungry for this victory with 8 minutes to go. Lots of football left, but right now this Wildcat team is into it. And when you see the Alumni moving with the ball, you know they're into it. The crowd is electric. This sideline is electric. And we've got a great finish coming up here on ICU Video. Guys?
And well, they might be hungry. Their last victory in PFC action goes all the way back to the first game of the 2015 season. And that's a long time to go without a victory. And here's James Barnsley from the 50-yard line, and he'll kick this one all the way into the end zone. It'll be taken there by Giovanni Ellis. He comes out over the goal line and up to about the 15-yard line. And again, a little bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle. But, you know, everybody's got to be cool, and this is the most important thing right now for the Edmonton Wildcats, is to keep their cool, to keep that discipline. And keep that 37-30 lead, too.
Well, and the Wildcats and most of these players have not really been in this situation before. And again, they're going to need to, like you said, be disciplined and understand the position they are in. They don't need to make any super plays. They need to make sure they contain this offense and do what they've been doing at times throughout this night and getting stops and being disciplined.
7:40 to go. There's the handoff to Adeniran. Adeniran tries the right side and is stopped after a gain of about, we'll call it 7 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and about 3.
And again, we've talked about that secondary being very active on this defense. And again, it was number 21, Jaden Dahlke, in there for the tackle, stuffing the run. And again, they are really leaning heavy on the secondary, both in the pass and the run support. And Edmonton's in a situation here, second in a few. If they can stop them here, they're going to be have the opportunity again on offense.
Dahlke was the second leading tackler in the PFC going into this weekend. Marquette in the pocket, fires into the middle. It is going to be short and intended out there for number 23, Emmett Putt. And that is one of the few times that we've seen Jake Marquette actually make a mistake on a pass.
Yeah, and again, you know what? He didn't really have a lot of places to throw that ball. The coverage from Edmonton's defense, we've talked about zone and we've talked about a little bit of man. And so what you're seeing here is you're having a two deep, and it looks like it's man coverage underneath. So they're understanding, hey, let's get ahead of him. And so the defensive play calling is now kind of a little bit ahead of Hamilton. And so Hamilton's offense seemed to be going ahead, and now it's the defense that's making the great decisions.
Rakeel with a high spiraling kick. It'll come down to about the 45-yard line. It bounces forward, and the Wildcats will jump on it. And then, of course, there will be a flag for no yards. And I'm just looking down at the bench here, and the guy who picked up that football was number 22, Isaiah Brown, and he came running off the field and is now lying flat on his back and appears to be in a whole lot of pain.
Yeah, and there's a couple flags that came out late on the field, so I'm not sure what happened, but we're going to see here what the results are.
Dave, Kevin down here right next to Jordan Dalkey, and it appears to be a right, really he's trying to shake it off, but it appears to be an ankle injury on the right side. But no, he was in a lot of pain when he came off the field, but he's just trying to shake it off now. Looks like he'll be able to return, but initially I think he was pretty worried.
Yeah, I think it's Isaiah Brown, number 22 there, Kev. But he
did I say Dalkey or did I say I meant Isaiah Brown. I mean, both of these guys have played so well tonight, and they're only one number apart. But Brown right now is such an important part of that defense. But the training staff is following him around, and it looks like he'll be okay, Dave.
And it looked like a linebacker came down and kneeled right on his calf, and so I'm sure Ouch. It felt not so good. But we did get a no yards call there on Hamilton.
Ball on the 36-yard line. It is first down for the Wildcats. Colton Hippie still at quarterback. Hands it off to Bray Josu. Has some room on the outside. Gets around one tackler and is taken down at about the 25-yard line. And that is going to be a gain of 11 and a first down for the Wildcats.
Well, and good job just being patient as a running back. And you talk about, if things close in too early, you're going to bounce it out and the linebackers are going to get that step. He stayed on his path right off the tackle, and the linebacker had to wait there. And then when he bounced it out, he created more space for himself, did a great job of buying himself some field space, and then just outran him to the sideline.
Josu, the setback, the fumble on the handoff, and I believe Josu was able to come to pick it up and pounce on it. So a bit of a break there for the Wildcats.
Yeah, a little bit of exchange problem in the backfield. Great job of coming up with it. They didn't want to turn it over here, and again, that would have been another critical mistake. Needless to say, they're close. They need to see if they convert this or get some yards back to make a field goal and to try to go up by more than just 7 as we see the clock slowly tick away here in the fourth quarter.
Hippie, the quarterback. Into the middle, pass is complete to Lucas Howe at the 20. Still going, and finally lunges across the 15-yard line to about the 14. And it looks like he has enough for the first down. And those last couple of yards was all Lucas Howe as he tried to get that first down.
Yeah, he fought hard to get this. You can see the screen set up. They had a little bit of action, little bubble play, bringing him inside with a lot of blockers out in front. And then you could see he probably first contact happened close to really being 4 yards short of the first down. And he obviously made it close. Didn't quite get it, but now they are third, and it looks like less than half a yard, maybe 6 to 8 inches. Let's see if the offense can really dig in deep and try to get this first down and continue this drive.
And easily, Colton Hippie slashes across for the first down.
So 2 things at play here. Not only does the drive continue and they can put more points on the board, but with this running game and the effectiveness of it, as we've seen it here in the second half and a little bit in the first, they're chewing up more clock, and Hamilton's going to start watching that a little bit closer here as the time ticks away. They want to get that ball back, and obviously the first priority for them is getting a stop and not giving up a touchdown here. But they are fired up and they need to get going, and Edmonton obviously trying to churn out some time and some yards here.
Play action, pass over the head of the intended receiver, and that was Kieran Bell. And Bray Josu taking a bit of a rest on the bench as the Wildcats go with 2 setbacks. One of them out there being Ethan Frigon.
So Ken, by throwing that ball for some football fans out there, that actually stops the clock when it's an incomplete pass. And so until it's blown in there. So the play is now blown in. We'll see how they do here on 2nd and long.
There's a pass. It is incomplete once again, intended for Kieran Bell on this side. And that will bring on the field goal team with 3:32 to go. And the Wildcats leading by a score of 37-30.
And we've talked about the secondary of Edmonton making some big plays. In that case, it was number 25, Creighton Chartier of Hamilton, really breaking well on that ball and breaking it up on a big hit on the receiver in the flat.
Field goal attempt coming from about the 25-yard line. Tanner Holt. Ball is down, it's up, and it is through the uprights. And with 3:13 to go in this football game, it is a 40-30 score in favor of the Edmonton Wildcats. And wow.
Critical drive for Edmonton. Obviously aided by some penalties and a bad punt, but again, good job of moving the ball into field goal position and going up by more than just a touchdown or 8 points, which is a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, which we've seen already tonight from Hamilton. Now, pressure back on the Hamilton offense, and it'll be interesting to see. They've been pretty disciplined to stay with the run. We'll see now with wanting to obviously conserve the clock, knowing they have to get 2 scores here. Are they going to stay with the run, or are they going to start spreading it out? And from initial view here, it looks like they're going to go with their 6-receiver package.
Heading downfield, there's the pass. It is a short one on the flats to number 21, Giovanni Ellis. And Ellis will pick up enough, I believe, for the first down. We'll see where they mark it. No, he's short by about a yard or a yard and a half.
So again, now we're going to see what kind of defense, what's the strategies of Edmonton's defense. Do you contain them? You don't want to give them too much space because there's still a lot of clock time left. And again, a lot of DBs coming up from a distance there. So again, you got to be careful, because if they manage the clock well on the Hamilton side, they are going to have time to move the ball down the field. And if they can continue this drive and get a touchdown, it's only a field goal that would then tie it. So again, we don't want to give up too much ground with this kind of time on the clock, only being up 10 points.
All right, 3 flankers to this side. 2 to the, or make that 1 to the other side. Pass, short one again, and again it is out there to number 21, Giovanni Ellis, and he'll pick up close to about 9 yards on the play, and it'll be more than enough for the first down. So the Hurricanes obviously just trying to get the ball downfield in as short a time as possible with those quick little out passes.
Yeah, they're willing to play the clock game, and Edmonton's happy to be a little bit softer in coverage and keep things underneath. We'll see how this continues.
There's the pass again, complete on this side, taken this time by Emmett Putt, and Putt is stopped after a gain of perhaps 4 yards on the play.
Again, great job by the secondary of getting off and making a tackle. You can see now that Hamilton has turned to their hurry-up offense, where they and again, this is the type of offense where you're not going to be huddling up. You're trying to just get signals out to your players. They're happy with 6 receivers. We'll see what they can do.
Less than 2:20 to go. Pass complete on this side, or the far side rather, to Adeniran. Adeniran gets around 1 tackler and then is finally taken down after a gain of about 8-10 yards or so, and it'll be enough for the first down.
There's also a flag on the far side, and it kind of came in after the catch, so first down will likely be gained, but they're probably going to move them back one way or the other, because it looks like it's been on Hamilton, likely an illegal block by one of the receivers downfield after the catch was made here.
Right there.
Yeah, it looks like the outside guy was coming in. 2 guys almost got taken down, may have been called on either one of them. But it looks like it's going to go in favor of Edmonton again, just making the job a little bit harder for Hamilton now to keep this going. So now we're looking at about second and about 16 yards here for them to convert to keep this drive going with only 2:09 left. They're really now fighting against that clock being down 2 scores.
2:09 to go, and the ball is on the 47-yard line, still in Hurricane territory. 5 receivers out. There's the screen pass to Adeniran. Adeniran uses his athleticism to gain close to about, we'll call it about 10 yards or so, but he's going to be well short of the first down.
And again, another flag coming out after I think the play was over. And so again, if this is on Edmonton, real tough break. If it's on Hamilton, it's really going to move them back into a real difficult position. But either way, it's not going to go well for one of these two teams.
And it's going against Hamilton.
Well, we've seen this happen a lot late in some games, and things have gotten away. And again, some undisciplined play is really going to be costing Hamilton here. And again, they've now, again, taken a real positive and turned it into a negative with a little bit of extracurricular emotion on this play.
Unnecessary roughness is the call.
And it looks like it was on number 53 of Hamilton. Looks like John Grant, just again, playing with passion, playing with emotion, but he's got to keep that in check, especially in situations like this. And so I think we're looking at third in a very long, looks like 18 yards now. Again, Hamilton's offense is staying on the field, so here it is. It's coming down to this play.
Ball on the 44-yard line. Marquette looking deep. He has a man open, and a great job of knocking that football. And then they're going to be calling interference, and it's going to be going against Tony Savchuk, I believe.
And again, not easy to see because fairly well played by the DB, but I think what the guy saw is possibly his left hand in coverage coming down either on the hip or on the shoulder. So we'll see what it is here again, handing him back some yards and again keeping this drive alive for Hamilton.
Brady Kurz, the guilty party. Felt like he got his one hand out on the football. We'll take a look at it here.
Yeah, I definitely think it was the left hand. It was not the right. He was fine with the right, and we can see maybe here a little pump and go. He gets the left hand out, holding him up. Unfortunately, he was in great position, didn't need to do that, but Hamilton's drive continues here with 1:55 left.
There's the pass. It is complete along the sidelines at the 10. And in for the touchdown.
Oh,
Trey Ivey.
I think they marked him down at the 1 yard line so close as he was going down. He did extend out. He ended up landing in the end zone, but it looks like they called him down at the 1, which,
the knee
again,
goes down.
Good hustle play by Edmonton. Again, if they have to run one more play, just more time coming off the clock. We'll see here on the replay where that knee goes down.
Trey Ivey is one of the leading receivers in the Ontario Football Conference, and he showed why there, especially his yak yardage after that.
Again, Hamilton try to conserve every second, going again quickly to the line, quickly getting into the end zone. We'll see what the refs have to say. I'm not sure what happened here.
It goes against the Wildcats, and it is a touchdown for the Hamilton Hurricanes with 1:33 to go, and this football game could come down to the dying seconds.
Well, when games are this close, again, this convert becomes that much more important for Hamilton. They obviously want to draw within 3, so they have the chance for a field goal. And again, this is going to put some pressure on special teams coordinator Jared Winkle to make sure his team is ready. Because again, at this point in time in the game, I'm not sure Hamilton's going to elect to kick the ball downfield. And again, another shot, another undisciplined penalty by Hamilton. Again, after the fact, one of the Hamilton players just gave one of the Wildcats a shot right in the face mask, and so that's going to cost them likely another 15 yards on this kickoff.
In the meantime, the point after was good.
It was good.
It's been one of those football games where anything is likely to happen, and most of it has to do with red flags.
It does, and again, a lot of undisciplined ones late in this game, and you know Hamilton's coaching staff is not going to be happy about this. Here they go. Instead of kicking off from the 4 or 5, they're going to move it back. So again, even if it is a short kick, they're going to have a little bit of field to go, and if they do kick it deep, Edmonton's going to be in great position, and with the running game in the way it is, they may be able to eat out the rest of this clock, and again, that's going to be the goal. So let's see what Edmonton does. They come out looking like a lot of guys are up front, so they need to be prepared for kind of both situations here. Possibly a short kick, and I hope they adjust to that and bring some more guys up to the line of scrimmage. And then they're going to have, looks like Isaiah Brown likely going to be back waiting for a possible kick here if it does go deep. So Edmonton needs to be aware.
I think they have everybody piled up within about 15 yards of the line. And it's a high end-over-end kick. It'll come down to Brown at about the 35-yard line. And Brown is stopped after a run back of about 10 yards. And with 1:28 to go, the Edmonton Wildcats have the football in their own zone. Colton Hippie at quarterback.
Well, priority number one for the return team was retain possession of the ball, and again, they kicked it deep, so that worked well. Now, priority number two goes on to the offense. They need to see, one, if they can burn some time and gain some field position. Again, in a perfect world, they would be able to churn out a couple first downs and use this clock and not give Hamilton a chance to tie this game up.
There's the handoff to Josu. Almost makes it around the outside, but tracking him down from behind was number 55, Ty Kelly. And Kelly makes the tackle after a gain of maybe a yard or two.
Well, again, we're in a position, we've got our veteran quarterback in, maybe a little less mobile than your young guy. And again, Hamilton knows they're playing against the clock here, and looks like they've probably called a timeout to stop it. Great decision by them. They know they're going to run it, so they're going to have to get a little creative to try to get the first down.
All right, so Bray Josu was actually stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of about a yard and a half. It'll be second. They call it 2nd and 12. Ball on the 43-yard line.
So again, always an interesting position. So you're up and you've got the ball, and how do you burn the clock out? As an offensive coordinator, you've got to make a decision. Do you run the ball and either force the clock to run down, or using a timeout by the other team? And so again, it's kind of it's a little bit of a game you've got to play, you know. Again, now that they're 2nd and 12, it may be hard to pick up in the run. So do you go to the pass? And if you go to the pass and it's incomplete, well, the clock stops. And so again, you're always playing that game as a head coach, figuring out, okay, do we want to throw the ball, run the ball? You know, what's more valuable, the first down, or do you just run the ball and hopefully just take enough time off the clock that Hamilton can't get the ball back and score?
All right, we know they won't be running it. There's the screen pass. It is complete at the 50 and still going to about the 52-yard line was Lucas Howe.
Well, we've seen that screen pass work numerous times for Edmonton here, and they come back to it once again. This time the linebacker's there to slow him up, and enough guys there able to rally him before he got the first down. So again, gaining 8-10 yards back was good. That's going to help, and now it's going to be special teams play, likely a punt. I don't imagine at this point Darcy's ready to call a fake, and although we've seen a number throughout the year, it's going to put it back in the hands of Hamilton with time left on the clock to try to move the ball down the field.
Tanner Holt is out there as well, and he is going to be, I believe, onside. And we're waiting for one more Wildcat to come out, and that will be Chase LaRose.
Well, now is definitely not the time you want to make a personnel problem, especially coming out of a timeout. But again, Edmonton making sure they've got everybody they need on the field to get this punt off, because I can imagine Hamilton's lined up and they've got 3 guys outside the right edge of Edmonton really coming hard, hoping to maybe get a piece of this punt.
All right, they won't have anybody onside. There's a high snap. It's pulled down by Zeroni, and he gets a good one away. It'll bounce at the 20 to the 15. They fumble the football, and Hamilton will be deep in their own zone as they whistle it down. Unable to control that football was Trey Ivy, or make that number 13, Neil Stewart. And a tough break for the Hamilton Hurricanes, but a great kick by Matt Zeroni.
Well, what timing of a great kick. And again, that's exactly what you need. And a little bit of bobbling of the ball. Down he goes to get it. And again, blown dead at that point with his knee down. And again, if you're a fan of football, sometimes in the other leagues, in the pros, your knee can be down when you pick up the ball and you can take off and run. Here, if your knee's down when you're touching the ball or holding the ball, it's blown dead.
All right, so Jaden Dalkey and Tony Savchuk rather, are the deep backs, and that pass goes incomplete as it was bobbled and finally fumbled by Mackenzie Sadler. And huge break there for the Wildcats. We're down to 1:02.
Yeah, and again, you know what? It stops the clock, so if he's out of bounds, that's okay. It stops the clock. Again, they're going to have to convert, and you're definitely playing 3-down football here. Again, you don't want to be sucked up, though. You want to make sure the secondary, and you can see 4 across playing deep. Don't get drawn up into the mix. You want to take your time, make sure everything stays in front of you.
There's the pass, complete at the 30-yard line, taken there by Trey Ivy, and it's a first down.
And again, a lot of celebration by Trey Ivy, where he needs to get back on the line and he needs to conserve some clock, knowing that tackle was made inbounds. And here the clock is started on the whistle, and they're set, ready to go with 6 receivers.
Pass along the sidelines, it is complete. Taken there by Giovanni Ellis, and Ellis almost broke that one, but for the shoestring tackle, I believe it was Matt Zeroni out there just managing to hold on.
Yeah, critical job, number 30 out there on the corner, making that tackle, forcing them to go again with them being down 3. I'm not sure the distance this kicker can manage, but again, they're fighting against the clock with 40 seconds and counting.
Josh Kober was in on that tackle. And right now this is Jake Marquette. Marquette will slide after a gain of about maybe 4 yards or so, but it's enough for the first down.
Good heads up by Marquette, knowing he needed to get the first down because he didn't want to be in 3rd down situation, so he quickly ran, slid, put the ball down, and he's ready to go with his offense with 31 and counting.
All right, again, 6 receivers. Looking into the middle, the pass, it is incomplete. Intended for Adeniran, and out there to make the hit and strip the football all at the same time was number 45, Riley Thompson, out of Medicine Hat and the Medicine Hat Mohawks program.
Well, playing with a lot of emotion. Great job by Edmonton. The positive for Hamilton is because it was incomplete and it only would have been 2 or 3 yards, the clock does get held, so Hamilton has the opportunity to take a little bit of a break, huddle up, make sure you get the play called. So again, completed passes or runs that are tackled in the field of play at this point will keep that clock running. Right now the clock is on a hold. You can see the official with his hand up until the ball is snapped.
23.6 seconds. Fake pass. It's a long one, and it is going to be knocked down. No flags, and out there to make the great defensive play was Brady Kerr.
Well, and here we have it, 3rd and 10. Another great play by the Wildcats defense. Again, it's hard getting in behind coverage when you're dropping 3 or 4 guys, and Edmonton's really trying to play that clock game and keeping them in front, knowing they've got to get a first down here to keep this drive alive. So they're looking at 3rd and 10. So again, interesting situation for the Edmonton defense. What do? Do you play up and try to eliminate that first down? They've got 15 seconds left, so they're probably looking at least 25 yards in order to get close to maybe 45-yard field goal. So again, both coaches doing a lot of thinking, figuring out what is your strategy. With maybe 15 seconds left, you probably have 3 plays left, so you've got to be very, very careful on your play selection. And on top of that, the players need to be very aware of the situation as well. If you're close to the sideline and you've got the first down on Hamilton's side, you got to get out of bounds or get to the end zone, get in a position where you can kick a field goal to see if they can extend this game. On the defensive side, again, don't give up anything too deep, but again, if you give up something intermediate, they may have enough time to kick a field goal here. We'll see what kind of coverage Coach O comes out to see what he can do to stop this Hamilton offense.
They've got all the linebackers and all the DBs lined up at the midfield stripe. Here's the screen pass, complete to Adeniran. Adeniran looking for some room, doesn't find it, and the Wildcats stop the Hamilton Hurricanes, and with 8.1 seconds to go in this football game, the Wildcats are on their way to their first victory in, I believe it's 18 games.
Well, a lot of excitement. You can see the play, and again, great call by Hamilton, putting it in your hands of your playmaker. It's been successful all night. Great job, great playing with passion. You can see the excitement both in the players, the fans are elated, and the alumni, I'm sure, are very, very proud of these young guys for fighting hard all night long, coming from behind in the second half. And we're a couple kneel downs away from the first victory of the year and in a couple years.
I'll tell you what, that it just, you can't help but feel happy for a guy like Darcy Park, who has worked so hard for so many years with this football team, and he's been going through a lot of frustration in the last couple of years. He finally gets the victory, and, well, you just got to be happy for him.
Yeah, you got to be happy for Edmonton, and again, real tough way to lose for Hamilton. Again, they kind of had it in a great position going into this second half. They had a lead, And again, they kind of squandered it away, and you can't help but look back on some of the undisciplined penalties that they took that just gave Edmonton a few more yards. And again, it was 15, 25 yards that could have put them in field goal position. Those penalties cost them, and it really showed up here in the last quarter.
There's no question about that. And I think it's particularly sweet because of the way they had to come back and win this one.
Yeah, you know what? It showed a lot of character. And again, these young guys have grown through this experience. And again, Hamilton, long ways to travel for them. Likely a good experience out here, obviously wanting to go back with the win. And so that's going to be a tough trip back over to Hamilton. But again, Edmonton, great fighting all night long. Good job, just working hard. And you saw so many individual efforts by the different players as they continued to just a couple extra yards here, turned out to get those first downs and did an outstanding job tonight just executing and finishing strong, like we've seen them really struggle in the last number of games doing that.
And let's not forget the Hamilton Hurricanes. They come all the way out here. I think they arrived on Thursday to acclimatize themselves to this cold Edmonton fall. And they, with the exception of a number of undisciplined penalties, they were in this football game all the way to the end.
Yeah, you know what? That's going to be great for the future because when they were able to eliminate those undisciplined penalties, everything seemed to go better. And again, other than maybe that second to third quarter or first and second quarter lull where they took some of those bad penalties and helped Hamilton move the ball, they really eliminated those when the crunch came in the fourth quarter and they really needed to finish off strong. So again, those boys are excited. Coaches are excited. That's a big monkey off the back of that whole organization. And now a lot of positive things moving forward from here.
I think you have to say a word or two as well about Colton Hippie, who came in the fourth quarter and engineered this win, this come-from-behind win. And we're going to go downstairs just in a minute or two. I think Kevin is ready. And Kevin, you have Isaiah Brown with you.
I have Isaiah Brown. And Isaiah, we wanted to get the old guy. Let's talk about Colton Hippie tonight.
You know what, Colton, we've had a tough stretch, but he's a guy that we look at, fifth-year guy that puts it out every game, and this wins for him. And like honestly, I just want to get in there and celebrate with those fifth years and just put it out every single game.
Now, Bray Josu was incredible tonight.
You know what, I've seen that kid run hard, but I've never seen him run hard like this. I've watched Wildcats games for 4 years. I've never seen that guy run like that. Like I said, I just want to run in there and give those guys a hug, man.
Well, we're not gonna hold you back too much longer, but I mean, for you guys, I mean, I'm gonna ask you the dumbest question of all time. After 2 years, how does this feel?
You know what? You hear it all the time in sports. The monkey is just off right now. And you know what? We know we got potential. We knew we should have had wins in this year. Now, honestly, I'm looking forward to next week already. You know, keep this going because I know we got talent in that locker room to keep this going.
Take us through the last 30 seconds of this football game, or I mean, really even the last 3 minutes. It was tight. I mean, and this sideline, you could hear a pin drop. I mean, take us through. What was that like for you guys?
Well, we're sitting there about 40 to 30 now. You know, it's been a couple years here, so I'm already thinking, I'm talking about celebrating with the guys, and they score that one. And as a DB, they heave one. And if it goes over my head, hell, game will be over, right? So ball's going up, my heart's racing on my chest, but you know what? It's the adrenaline. That's why you play. That's why you play. You play for moments, you know? That's why you play.
Well, you know what? You better get back into that locker room and go do some celebrating. Congratulations. Let's throw things up. I'll tell you, guys, this sideline and that team is just so full of joy right now. It's a lot of fun to be down on the sideline tonight, guys. Back up to you.
And it was a lot of fun to sit up here and watch this football game and watch the way this football game developed over the four quarters, the ebbs and the flows, the way they finally were able to come back and win it after being down, after being ahead 10-0, and then being down and then coming back again and winning. Well, it was just one of those games.
It really was. And again, you saw the momentum go back and forth, people making plays on special teams, offense making great plays really in both directions. And we saw two great teams really go at it, both with the run game and the pass game. Very different styles, but again, both really effective throughout the night.
I think one of the reasons the Wildcats came up with this victory was because they were able to score at the right time when they really needed to, and that is that goes to what we're looking at here as far as statistics go. Total offense 360 for the Edmonton Wildcats, but for the Hamilton Hurricanes 492 yards on offense. But again, it's the score that counts, and 40-37 is the win.
Well, they churned out a lot of yards, and that's for sure. And I mean, it's not like they didn't score points. They scored quite a bit. But again, Edmonton took advantage of a couple mistakes, and there was a few mental mistakes later in the game that really, I think, really turned the tides, and it just kept handing the momentum back to Edmonton, and that allowed them to move the ball and obviously go up 2 scores was big, and then they managed the clock really well and was able to hold on for the win.
Well, we've talked over this season about the lack of a running game from this Edmonton Wildcats squad. Not tonight. In fact, they came up with 188 yards total rushing, and if you look at the rushing stats, you've got seven running backs in there, including a couple of quarterbacks as well, running the football. Bray Josu, as you might expect, 94 yards on 37 carries, and I don't think he's ever carried the ball that much.
Yeah, you know what? He carried the load, and again, even we talked about him in the blocking game, and he had an outstanding game on all facets, running the ball, catching the ball, and blocking and buying time for the quarterbacks. And the other thing I really enjoyed watching is Darcy use all his quarterbacks and very effectively. We've seen in the past all 3 come in for different reasons, and they've been pulling quarterbacks and trying something new. In this case, you know what? A couple injuries and a couple different things happened, but all quarterbacks had an opportunity to get in there and really contribute to this win. So again, they're all going into that locker room feeling pretty good about this win.
I think you probably gave Cody Olson a new nickname, the red zone quarterback.
Well, again, it's, you know what, you got to use what you have, and again, with different quarterbacks and different styles, they did a great job tonight using all those different skill sets to just squeak out this win and really execute on offense more than we've seen for a while.
Justin Swedish, when he was in there before he injured his shoulder, 5 carries for 34 yards, and that certainly made a huge difference. Cody Olson, 5 carries for 41 yards. So we know that these quarterbacks can run, and we found out in the fourth quarter that Colton Hippie can really throw the football when he has to.
Well, I think tonight we saw the quarterbacks make some really good decisions as well. We talked about that read option, and with an effective run game and with Josu just going off tonight, that helps that even that much more. And again, we saw the young quarterback, and I think it actually gave the veteran guys a really good opportunity to see, hey, if we read that defensive end on that run option, it's going to not only buy time to run, which we saw the quarterbacks take off and run, but they were also able to deliver the ball when they get outside the pocket, which created a lot more time for them to deliver.
And on the other end of things, while the Wildcats had 7 ball carriers, the only 2 ball carriers for the Hamilton Hurricanes were the quarterback, Jake Marquette, and of course David Adeniran, who was the leading ground gainer in the OFC.
Well, a little surprising watching the beginning of the game that they didn't come out earlier with the run. Now, they did use it throughout the game, but they definitely, I thought they would use that a little bit more earlier on. Obviously, they used it throughout the game and had a balanced attack and just came up 3 points short tonight.
Okay, let's go back downstairs, and once again, here's Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Dave, and I am here with the victorious coach, Darcy Park. Darcy, for a season and a half, I've had the privilege of asking you some very dumb questions. So allow me to ask you a really dumb one now. How does this feel?
It's nice. I mean, it's a long time coming. I think our guys worked really hard. But in true Wildcat fashion, we couldn't make it easy for ourselves. You know, we kind of took control there in the third quarter and fourth quarter. And, it would have been nice to get that touchdown to go up 14. We didn't. And that's a whale of a team who, again, this is a huge game for them. And they came back. And again, our guys just played hard. And we managed to maintain the penalties in the second half. And they went a little undisciplined. And, again, I'm just happy for our guys because this is a long time coming. They've earned this.
And how about for, we talked to Isaiah Brown right after the game, and like he said, for young players like him, he was playing for those 5-year guys like Colton, and what a performance by Colton to come off the bench and finish this thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, again, we're pretty happy with our team that we have in terms of how tight they are, but it gets strained when you're not winning. So this is, again, going to make him even tighter. And the quarterback position, you can go to every position where we had guys coming in and out all day making plays. But, to have Cody start and start moving the ball and then kind of fizzle, and then Swedish comes in and does what Swedish does, which is get drilled all the time. And then when Colton went in, I said, this is how it's supposed to be. You're a 5th-year guy. You're coming in to lead it back. So for him to, again, engineer the game-winning drive, I'm so happy for him.
And I mean, a lot of people in the football community throughout the Capital Region were pulling for you guys, knowing that this is that it is a big rebuild, but literally for your team going forward, this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you get that monkey off your back, and I told the guys we're going to enjoy it, but we're going into Saskatoon, and how exciting is that? We can go into Saskatoon on a win, and again, it's going to be a tough task, but we're excited that we can go and watch film of a win, and the mistakes never look so bad when you got the W on your side.
Isn't that the truth? And I'll tell you, what an exciting game. And I guess one final thought from you. I mean, what does it mean to have? I mean, the Alumni, they were following the ball. I mean, that last quarter. I mean, the Alumni were into it. The crowd was into it. What a special night, especially on the 40th anniversary.
Yeah, those 77 guys are awesome. Like they're all heart and soul guys. Like you talked to them, they had some stars, but they were a bunch of lunch bucket guys, and that's what we told our team. So for us to kind of gut it out like that, it was awesome. Again, we got to mention our coaches who put in so much time, and it's so hard. It's hard on the family when you're not winning, and the stress. And for Andy and Donnie to get their first wins as coordinators, and I thought they both made great adjustments at halftime. And again, I'm just so happy for them because they're good coaches, and we're going to be able to show that moving forward.
Well, an entire city is very happy for you, Darcy Park. Get back into that room, enjoy that with your team, and from our entire team to yours, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty sure there's a group down in Kisman Park on the other side of the river that's not so happy, but we're good for them.
Well, congratulations all the same, and have a good night. And let's throw things back upstairs for a final thought with Dave and Rob.
Darcy was going to get that shot in. There was never any question about it. But that group of people down at Kinsman Park are going to be in action tomorrow, and that's going to be a big football game for the undefeated Edmonton Huskies taking on the Regina Thunder. And the Regina Thunder, probably the one or two big teams that are in their way to winning this league championship.
Yeah, and that's going to be an exciting game. And taking a little bit more from this game, you can see how the West, the conference out here is strong. And so, again, great job by the Cats tonight, and looking forward to another great one tomorrow.
All right, join us tomorrow on ICU video for that game between the Edmonton Huskies and the Regina Thunder. And let's throw it back down to wrap it up with Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. And that concludes our coverage of Week 7 and our ICU Procast coverage of the 2017 Prairie Football Conference season. On behalf of executive producer Rob Zitlaw, we'd like to thank our entire broadcast crew, the hardest working crew in cyberspace, technical advisor and camera Dave Foley, our director Connor O'Donovan, our switcher Alex Testowich, and on camera Terry Farina and Matt Mosowich. And as you mentioned, coming up tomorrow, we have more ICU Procast coverage of PFC football. Kickoff 1 o'clock right here at Clarke Park as the Edmonton Huskies play host to the Regina Thunder in what should be a fantastic football game. And we want to thank you, football fans, for joining us here on ICU Video on a fantastic night as the Edmonton Wildcats celebrate the 40th anniversary of their 1977 national title. And I have the great pleasure of saying the final score from Clarke Park. The losing streak is over. The Edmonton Wildcats 40, the Hamilton Hurricanes 37. I'm Kevin Donnan on behalf of ICU Video. Good night from Clarke Park in Edmonton.